You are listening to the Urban Sports Scene. I'm Wole, and I'm joined by my co-host Ray Jeezy. Before we start, you can also check us out at www.urbansportscene.com. What's going on, Ray?
I'm laughing because you got my man Dujane calling me Ray Jeezy. It's kind of funny to me, bro. It's hilarious.
Hey, man, like the trend is real, dog. Like now it's on and popping, man. And now you're like, that's your celebrity name, bro. Ray Jeezy's your celebrity name. She's like, nah, you don't like that.
No. I don't need a celebrity name. Just call me Ray, as they say. You know what I'm saying? Mama named me Ray, call me Ray.
You know what? I take that back.
Ray Jeezy is hilarious. Nah, you got it. See, it's funny because I always laugh because Donna calls you Wally whenever she's on. I think it's just
I know
so
she's facts. She can't help it though, because she knew, like, she met me by. Yeah, what's going on, Steve, man?
There's no excuse, Wale. No excuse. I met you as Wally too, bro. And I met you a long.
You can call me Wally. I would have an issue because my nieces and my nephew, call me Wally.
They should.
Uncle Wally. They can't help it.
My
brother won't even change. My brother evil. He won't even change. He just keeps calling me Wally, knowing that I did this for like my father. Like this dumbass still wants to call me Wally.
Okay, we going hard like that today. Okay, call me what you want, brother. It's all good.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, but that's why I don't really have real talk. Like I did it for like work. Like I wanted to like focus at work to call me Wole, and I was like, at that point in time in my life, I kind of, like I said, I wanted to show respect to my father. But like when people slip up and call me Wally, I don't get mad. If you know me since Wally, since pretty much my youth to now, like I can't be like, yeah, call me Wole, off to everybody.
Yeah, I get it. I'll answer to my childhood nickname because I understand as well, but I don't prefer to go by that at this stage of my life.
I know. That's why I respect that. That's why I don't really call you that.
You never call me that though, but it's all good.
I don't.
We can move on. Steve Fox is good, bro. check my name out down bottom. IG and Twitter. I ain't gonna call it X. Screw that. Call me Ray. It's all good.
Man. Yeah, Ray, man. That's what we got.
I got a few different names, but go ahead, bro.
Yeah, you do got a few different. I'm sure you do, bro. Hey, also, hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Also, make sure you you subscribe to the Urban Sports YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, click that red subscribe button. For this particular video, also like this video. Yeah, I'm bad. I was about to keep going, bro.
My man he was on a roll. Like I said, you see my name's down bottom. Hit us up on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at Urban Sports Scene. Follow us on IG at Urban Sports Scene and check out our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. Also join our Urban Sports Scene Facebook group, sports bloggers, sports podcasters, and sports debates. Listen, I'm not reading this, so I'm freestyling, family. That's how you know I'm real with this.
Like I'm semi-freestyling. I'm semi. Hey, free. Yeah,
you take a glance. I see when the eyes take a glance at the.
Yeah, you can tell. Hell yeah, you can tell. I'll look down. You darn right I will. I'll look down and be like, all right. Anyway, let's get to our tradition, the pregame. Here's what we have on tap. We'll talk about the Washington Commanders releasing veteran kicker Brandon McManus due to his sexual assault charges against him on the plane, like sexual assault on the plane. That sounds like a movie. We'll debate whether the team jumped the gun in releasing them. At 8:30, we'll also talk about the Washington Wizards making Brian Keefe the head coach, and we'll talk about former Wizards players becoming NBA champions elsewhere. Locked On Wizards host Brandon Scott will join us to discuss that. And then at 9, we'll talk about the NBA Finals between the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. And finally, around 9:30, Ray and I will chat about what's next with Deontay Wilder after he was knocked out Saturday against Zhilei Zhang in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I had to make sure I said that right.
Just call him Zhang.
No, really, that's not even all the way right. Zhang or something like that. They said it. Zhang.
It's all good. People say in a way.
I know, right?
Anui. As long as you close.
Well, how do you say his name correct? In a way. It's in a way.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Like but some people call him Anui. It all depends.
I know. It's like folks effing his name up for real. As an African,
it happens quite often. Actually,
I know as an African, it happens a lot.
Alvin Kamara, you hear it, man.
Woliola, Atkinson. I'm Kenso. People call me Atkinson.
We are on this name tip heavy today. I don't know what's going on.
Hey man. All right, man. Let's get to the first topic. The Washington Commanders released kicker Brandon McManus on Sunday after he was accused by two women of sexual assaulting them on a flight last season when he was with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Do you think this was the right football decision for the Commanders? Right.
I'm going to say it was probably the right decision. Obviously, I don't know what happened, and I don't want to speak to any specifics of the case. But what did come across my mind is the different treatment of athletes depending on what your stature is.
Facts.
Deshaun Watson has still gotten the benefit of the doubt from so many people. And he received a record-breaking contract during which time where he was settling lawsuits. And to be quite honest with you, you don't need that many different massage therapists. So there was some smoke, right, with Deshaun Watson. Where there's smoke, there's fire. That's the saying, correct?
Yeah.
So it's kind of unfortunate for this individual. Again, I'm not trying to make light of the situation because there are some people out here who are victims and could be hurting. They may be experiencing trauma behind what occurred. I don't know again. But what I'm saying is, if let's just say he was Adam Vinatieri, a star in his position, would he have been released so quickly? And is it because it's the Commanders? That's another thing. They don't want any negative attention coming their way because they're trying to move forward. So there was multiple factors involved as to why he got released, but I just don't know if he got a fair shake because he's Brandon McManus and because of the organization he's with. Like I said, if he's Harrison Buckner, if this was Justin Tucker in Baltimore, I can say they probably like, you know what, we're gonna let the process play out. He'll probably give a statement. His attorneys, Josh Giddey in the NBA, same thing. He was too valuable to that young team. They were like, we see evidence. They got pictures of him with an underage girl, but they're like, you know what? We'll let the process play out because it's Josh Giddey and he was an important part of the team. Brandon McManus right now, unfortunately, he's not an important part of this team. And also his organization is like, nah, this is some Dan Snyder era stuff. We need to distance ourselves quickly. And it sucks because if he were to be exonerated, then what? Then he's going to file a grievance and he's going to probably sue the organization and the league.
Yeah.
And the NFLPA, I don't know where they come in when it comes to situations like this. I guess they can't necessarily defend it publicly because of the serious nature of the allegations.
Eric said absolutely right decision. Sad to see it for him, but has to be done for the team. I guess in terms of PR, you gotta for what this team is trying to they're trying to achieve something different from the Snyder era, right? So I think because of the Snyder era, I feel like this is why McManus got released. I'm like, it's hard because like you said, Ray, you don't know what's right. You don't know what happened on that plane. You don't. So it's like, we're in a situation, I've said this before in sports. If you're accused, you're already deemed guilty a lot, especially when it comes to sexual assault or whatnot, or sexual assault, domestic violence abuse, you're already deemed guilty once it goes to public opinion. Doesn't really matter to a point where you can't really wait for due process, because we've seen a lot of times that certain teams don't even wait. They'll just release you, get rid of you, and then you find out that the person was telling the truth. Like, you know what I mean? So this situation is a little different. I don't know what happened, but I do know that for where this organization's at, they're trying to avoid drama. Therefore, they're, like you said, they don't feel like Brandon McManus is a big of a star to keep around. It's like what did Peyton Manning say years ago? Man, we're talking about a kicker. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so at the end of the day, and it's not like you said, he ain't Justin Tucker. He's not old boy Buckner in Kansas City who had that controversial, commencement speech, right? But he's so valuable, right? He's one of them. He's one of them, those kickers that you really can't afford to kind of release like off the whim. So to your point, where I totally agree with you. And it's not like, to me, McManus was one of the best kickers in football, in his heyday. So it's not like he's like not a well-known kicker in the NFL, but to your point, he's not like an all-world kicker.
It's unfortunate. It shouldn't matter really in these situations because they absolutely did the right thing. I'm trusting the process that they have a good HR department now because under Snyder, there was no HR department. So I'm sure they've done their own investigation and they said this is the best move going forward. I agree with the move, again, without saying that I know what's going on in particular, but I agree with the move. But it shouldn't matter who he is. But the unfortunate thing, like I said, is he's not an investment. If you invested, let's just say a $90 million contract into a receiver and this comes up, bam, this happens.
You're not doing the same thing.
And also with Darius Geis, they gave him multiple chances when his name started coming out over and over again. And it's like at the end of it, they're like, you know what, this is the last straw. And you're setting a bad example if you don't address it off the jump. Even if you turn out to be wrong, you made the right decision because of the serious nature of the allegations and also of the precedents that you're trying to set for your organization moving forward in the tone. So I think moving forward is great. That's why it's a non-story now. They did what they're supposed to do and you move forward. Versus in the past, stories will linger, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think that's what they tried. That's what they did. They just want to nip it in the bud. They just want everything to be football. You know what I'm saying? So I think they achieved their goals. I think everything's going to be football.
I want to follow up with Steve Fox, man. Again, I appreciate you so much, my brother. You said their lawyer is really good. Are you talking about the lawyer for the girls, or is it the Commanders' lawyers now? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What lawyers?
No. You're talking about. I think McManus has a really good. I think the girl has a good lawyer. The girl
has a good.
Yeah, they have really good.
Two females, right?
Yeah, they have a good lawyer. They have the dude did the Deshaun case, I think.
Okay, because Deshaun's lawyer was actually pretty daggone good himself.
Yeah, the ones who represented the women, some of the women from the was it prosecutor or whatever? Deshaun Watson. They were that lawyer, I believe, was involved in that case.
Okay, so I know Deshaun had Rusty Hart in it.
No, it's not Deshaun's lawyer. Like
makes sense.
Yeah. So
but let's move on though, because obviously he's off the team now. McManus is out as a commander, at least for now. And the team signed kicker Ramez Ahmed, formerly of the UFL Birmingham Stallions. He was 10 of 13 kicking field goals this season, 4 for 6 from 40 through 49 yards, 0 for 1 from 50 yards. Out should the Commanders bring back Joey Slye Wole to compete for this job? What's your take?
They should bring people. Like this kicker wasn't a special kicker. Even in the UFL, he got cut by Blewett. He got cut and replaced by Blewett, the dude who used to play for the Commanders, right?
UPS Blewett, yeah.
Yeah, he got replaced by Blewett. So in the UFL, so I just think that I think Joey Slye is an individual who should get another opportunity if he's out there just to compete. I think whoever they bring in the building, they should have a competition, not like the Ron Rivera competition when he was here. They need to have a real good competition.
Good
like
question,
a valid competition.
Good question.
Why? I don't know. I don't know. Like I really don't know. I would prefer a guy who's done it before for many different reasons, because special teams will be important for this team, especially if you're starting a rookie quarterback. And so I think that you have to kind of try to if possible have some of the more dominant units that you can have, knowing you're dealing with having a rookie quarterback. You don't want to make life difficult on a rookie quarterback. So you can have a kicker who can kind of help you along in games and would not be a weapon. I think that would be a great thing for the Commanders. But I would have a real competition if I were the Commanders.
So how big of a role is the kicker going to play this season in your eyes? You brought in Austin Eckler, Mr. Touchdown, to hopefully combat some past issues that you've had in the red zone now as an organization. Last season was actually pretty good in the red zone. But as we know, kicking is so essential. You look at the 2 games you lost to Philly.
Yeah.
A field goal decided those 2 games. So those are 2 division wins that you could have had that you didn't, and you were 0-6 in the division. So you definitely want to have the kicker position solidified. I agree with what you're saying is try out different people. Let's see what he looks like. Preseason is going to be a big indication as to who's going to make the squad. And right now, I don't know if this is the answer. Like Eric is asking why Ahmed. I don't know if anybody else is watching. You can kind of give us some background information as to why they went that route. Was he the best option out there? It's interesting to see. I'm not sure.
Press today. I didn't get a chance. Online might be improving.
Well, that's what I've heard, that it's starting to improve. But where are you starting from, Eric? That's what I want to know. Because according to my guy Lou Holder, Donna Hopkins, those we've had on the show who are right there in person.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're starting from scratch. It's like you're starting from scratch. So improvement for us may say, you know what? Yes, it won't look like last year when Sam Howell was on record pace to be sacked in comparison to like David Carr or whatever. But maybe it is an encouraging sign that you're starting out early on, because everybody's been showing up to OTAs. But I think that first preseason game, that first unit being out there, how long DQ leaves them out is going to be a good indication as to where they are.
No, I do think that I think that you're talking about how important like a kicker is for this team. I think it's very important because again, you're dealing with a rookie quarterback. It's not like you're dealing with a vet quarterback in terms of like they're going to be over successful in the red zone. You don't know. You don't want to make things difficult for a rookie quarterback. You want to make everything as easy as possible. And if you say the quarterback drives the length of the field and they get stopped on third down, you got a chippy field goal. Like you just want points. You want to give that offense momentum. And you know how it can drain momentum if you have a good drive and then you miss a field goal. So you want to have a kicker that you can rely on. Like, you know how easy it is for Lamar when he drives, even if he doesn't score a touchdown, you got Justin Tucker. You could get to the 40-yard line knowing you're gonna get some points.
He's with the Patriots. Sorry, go ahead.
That would make that, to me, for a young quarterback, makes you feel good knowing that you have that weapon. I can get to the 50-yard line. I mean, I can get to the 40-yard line. I can get to the 38-yard line on the opposition, and I know I'm going to get points. You know what I'm saying? Like something that makes as a quarterback, forget rookie, but as a quarterback, that makes you feel a certain way, especially if you're coming into the league and you want to make life easy on a young player. I think it's essential to have special teams down pat because if you drive the length of the field and you're going to get some of these good defenses, and you now, instead of having 3 points, you have nothing to show for it, and then the opposition goes and scores a touchdown. Now you feel like you got to play catch up. So I just feel like having a good kicker, especially when you're trying to start and build something, just somebody who's reliable, I think is very important because we've seen here, even with Joey Slye, and I just said he deserves an opportunity to compete, but we see him as chippies, and you saw how what that did for the offense and how that drained the defense. You want positive reinforcements when you on your squad, and then when you miss a chippy field goal, especially being a team that's trying to build something, that's going to be tough for year one.
All right, folks who are listening out there, first of all, shout out to Just Dub. Joey Slide's with the Patriots right now, so that wouldn't be an option for him.
Oh, he's with the Patriots right now?
Yes.
Okay.
So that would not be an option, so I appreciate you for updating us on that.
Thanks, boss.
But think about this, fam. Those of you listening, Dan Campbell, right? His defense had a swagger that if his team went for it on fourth down, didn't get it, that they were going to come back out and get a stop. If DQ can establish a defensive identity, I'm not saying this is my philosophy. I'm just throwing it out there to you guys. If he establishes this swagger, like we can stop anybody anywhere, if they go for it on fourth down or they don't have the best kicker, it may not matter because the defense might be that good. But my man Dujane just checked in. He said, yeah, you definitely need a reliable kicker. It's so important. For many teams, it is. And for this Washington team, based on what Zhilei is saying, the factor is the rookie quarterback is going to be important. You want to have somebody who can get you some points, especially if you are struggling or if you're in a close game. I agree with that. But I also think Dujane and others, if the defense is really, really good this year, then you might have some wiggle room around that. Absolutely.
Yeah. If the defense is really, really good, but there are a lot of variables.
That's a big if.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know. Like everybody, but like that's the thing. Like every team thinks they're improved. You can only go from what you saw last year. Yes, you got Bobby Wagner. I think he's going to be essential to what they're going to do on defense. But you still got question marks. You know what I mean? Like everybody acts like, oh man, everything's like, oh, we're so much. Our D line's going to be better. Did you do anything special with the defensive ends? Not really. You people are hyping Farrell, but Farrell hasn't lived up to the hype. He was the first round pick for the Raiders. He was the first round pick. He didn't live up to the hype. I think it was the Raiders or the Niners, one or the other. But he didn't live up to the hype. So defense end is an issue. Like defense, you don't know what you don't get out of the ends. You know what you can probably get out of the tackles. You hope they're gonna produce because they've shown you a track record. But everybody else hasn't shown you it. I mean, you have Armstrong now. He's gonna be a starter. Everybody thinks he's gonna be the next 10 sack dude, but we don't know. He's a starter now. Like so, everything but again, like linebacker, we can hope for. I think linebackers will be highly improved compared to what we've seen before, but we don't know how all that comes to play in year one. Like we can't say that year one this defense is going to be thorough enough to maintain everything. You know what I'm saying? You mentioned look for instance, look how Eric assumed like the offensive line may be better because of what DQ said, but again, off track record alone for what we've seen. It looks like this defense, the offensive line ain't going to be good. I mean, for real, just from last year. and the people they brought in. Can't make that argument that it's going to be improved. So I just feel like if you have an opportunity, especially when it comes to kickers, and there are a lot of kickers out there who are like older kickers or out there who were reliable in the past, like sign them, because make life easy for your offense. You know what I'm saying? Why don't erase points? If you have an opportunity to get points, get points. Don't erase points.
I want to bring up Dujinay's comment because he's spot on. He said, yeah, it's the land of the unknown. I say you want to have an insurance policy. Mm-hmm. That policy is having a kicker that can make chip shots consistently. I totally agree. And extra points, Dujinay. And I want to reference Dan Campbell one more time, because if we remember, it took him more than one season before the Detroit Lions became the team that they were last year. So we can safely assume that the Dan Quinn product is not going to be necessarily the finished product. It's going to be a start to a change. It's going to be a start to him putting his sort of imprint on this franchise and this organization. So it's going to take a minute. So it might be some stumbling blocks. But if it's going to be some stumbling blocks in the first year, you got a first-year coach, first-year coordinator, first-year quarterback, you're going to want to have a good kicker. I agree with what everybody is saying. Even if the defense is, quote-unquote, really, really good, you're still going to want to have a kicker. Because if that's the case, remember the Baltimore Ravens, that 2000 defense was dope. They would win based on field goals sometimes. Yeah. They wouldn't score any touchdowns, so you're going to want to have a good field goal kicker.
Was that Stover? That was Stover back then, and a reliable kicker. Yeah,
yes,
a reliable kicker.
So I totally agree. Well, they said don't leave points on the field. You got to get points. That's how you win in this league. We know it's a scoring league now, and we've seen too many offenses stall after big plays. I remember Clinton Portis. Remember he had that long run. I don't know what game that was. It was opening day.
He scored though. He scored a touchdown that play.
Oh no, that was his first ever carry. I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about a separate game where he ran like I want to say he ran. It was almost a 90-yard run, but down to like 3-yard line.
Okay.
What's your fullback's name back then?
Sellers.
Yes, Mike Sellers missed the block. They had to settle for a kick there and within the 5-yard line. My point is just bringing that example up is it's no guarantee. Sometimes it's extremely hard to score unless you're Philly. You got that brotherly shove thing going. It's hard to score at the goal line for real. Like I don't have any confidence that. I mean, a lot of times you like goal line 1st and 1 from the 1. You like, all right, we got this. It's not a guarantee in today's league. You see a lot of big plays, but you need that kicker. You definitely have to have that.
Yeah,
because you got to get points.
Yeah, and I just think that it's essential to them. Like it goes back to my thing about making life easy for Jaden Daniels, man. Like, don't make things overcomplicated for him, man. What I mean by that is like if you need to solidify the offensive line, solidify the offensive line. If you gotta, give him a solid kicker where he doesn't feel like he has to score touchdowns. I mean, you should always want to score touchdowns. Don't give me a buck, but to a play where it's 3rd and 15, and he can't get that. It's hard to get that, 15 yards. It's hard to get 3rd and 15, right, bro? But you in the opportunity to get a field goal. Make him feel comfortable that he can trust his field goal kicker to a point where he doesn't have to go for broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, just make life easy for the young dude. That's all I want this team to do. Like, if you're going to create an offense and a whole system, a whole team around him, make life easy for him.
I'll be real, though. And I'm not a Commanders fan, so this is totally objective. I'm excited that they have a quarterback who's a dual threat in that red zone.
Which will make it easy. That should make it.
That's what's exciting. And as I was telling Dujane earlier, it's equally as demoralizing when you miss an extra point. You have a nice touchdown drive and the extra point is missed. It's like, seriously? Yeah. So instead of it being 7-0 or 7-7, it's 7-6 or 6-0, and it's like, here we go. If one point decides this game, that's going to be first. And then you find yourself having to go for 2, and sometimes that doesn't work out, and you find yourself getting further behind. So, yes, you need that kicker. But Jaden Daniels, that element, it's exciting to think that it's going to be not as simple to defend the Commanders in the red zone as it has been in the past. Although, shout out to Sam Howell. I'm a Sam Howell dude. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Sam Howell was
running. That's about to say. That was my point. Like, he was doing that too, though. It wasn't like.
But he's not Jake Daniels. He's not Jake Daniels now. But
no, hell no.
He was
hell no. He don't got that speed, bro. We ain't doing that.
He was slow, but he ain't. He's not Russ Grossman either, though. He can move, man.
But he can move and he'll take a hit. Like he'll go in there and go for it. Like he'll go for that touchdown.
He was a dog. He was a dog,
bro. He was a dog. You're right. Right about that.
I'm pretty sure Sam Howell played with some concussions. Yeah, definitely.
I'm positive. I'm positive he played with concussions. Like he was knocked out the first game. Like let's keep it a buck.
Yes, sir. and of course, everybody's like, you gotta learn how to slide. For Jaden Daniels, you're worried about his clavicle getting broken, or you worried about a broken sternum because he's so small. It's like, bro, he's definitely got to slide. People are gonna probably compare him to RG3 a lot. And they're gonna be nervous watching him make plays out there. But it's gonna be so exciting. It's gonna be an exciting brand of football watching him do his thing, because not only is he an excellent passer, but he's good on those improv type plays. If you watch him play in college, once he gets outside the pocket, he can make some things happen. And he's got a little zip on his ball, and he gets the ball out so quick. So it's gonna be hard on defenders to figure out what he's gonna do. I'm telling you, if he can master some of those pump fakes that you see like a Jalen Hurts do well. Jalen Hurts is somebody he's tough to defend in the open field.
You mean like Michael Vick? That's you talking about Michael Vick?
Yeah, I don't want to compare him to Michael Vick. Michael Vick to me is that, I mean, like, he's that upper echelon guy when it comes to those open field plays. But man, he might be like Michael Vick.
No, he's not gonna be like. No, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying like the pump fake like Michael Vick. I'm not saying he's gonna be like Michael Vick. Like I'm not saying that. Like there's different levels. There's levels to this.
I'm trying to think who else does that well, where they're running in space, they give you that, and then they just freeze defenders. I don't care who it is that's coming at them. You got to think like about Vic.
It's
yeah.
Vic.
Well, I'm talking about currently
in today's game.
Yeah,
in today's game. I don't think nobody do it like that no more, bro. Not like that. Like off the juke. I mean, Lamar, the closest Lamar.
But Lamar
don't do that pump fake thing though. He don't do that. I think it's Vic. I don't think nobody do it like that.
Okay, Josh Allen. Oh, Russell Wilson. Yeah, I like
Russell Wilson. That's a good one. Yeah, Russell Wilson does. That's
Russell Wilson definitely does that.
He does it. But now
because he's on the shorter side, so people are so confident they're gonna block down that. They're gonna be TJ Watt against him because he's only like 5'9" for real. I know he's listed like 5'11", but that's cap for real.
That's cute.
But yeah, that is a good example.
That is a very good example. And that was actually our guest who put that out there. But anyway, it's time to talk Wizards. So let's introduce our guest. Right now we have Locked On Wizards podcast host Brandon Scott. What's going on, Brandon?
What's good with y'all, man? How y'all doing?
We're doing good, man. How you doing, my man?
Chilling, man. Chilling.
It's an exciting time to be a Wizards fan, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Go ahead. No, because me and Brandon talked about this situation. And Brandon swayed me because at first I was like you, Ray. I wanted Budenholzer. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't want Budenholzer. I wanted Sam Cassell, bro.
Sam Cassell.
Yeah.
But he kind of swayed me anyway. But let us get to it. Last week the Washington Wizards knocked off the interim tag and made Brian Keefe the head coach. The press conference went down yesterday. First off, do you like the decision over getting a well-known head coach?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, he fits what we need, man. I mean, for so many different reasons. I mean, number one, his resume. I mean, if you look at his resume, OKC with Kevin Durant, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, man, he was very catamount in their development. I mean, in LA with Brandon Ingram. I mean, with the Knicks with KP, going back to OKC with SGA. So, his track record of being an assistant coach of developing young talent and getting the best out of them is exactly what we need. Because look, we're going to year 2 of a rebuild, man. So we definitely gonna need that. But I mean, again, his development. He's shown he can get the best out of his roster. Look at last year under West, man. This team was waving the white flag in like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Where in the second half of the season, this team was playing hard against good teams. So, I mean, and then kind of my third point, culture, man. I mean, these guys want to play in DC. They want to play together. You didn't have all these issues where, Baton's fighting Denny. You got KCP fighting people in the tunnel. You know what I'm saying? So the culture is definitely in place, man. So I think it's a great choice, man.
Yeah, I like we had the discussion when we was at the Wizards game, and I like him. I like they play hard for him. And he is about player development, which I do think that they have a couple guys on that team that I think will do well with him. I even thought that when what's the kid from Wisconsin?
Johnny Davis.
Johnny Davis. I thought Johnny Davis he played better under Brian Keefe. You know what I mean? So I just thought that he by watching him on the sideline and even hearing him at pressers, I feel like he gives those young players confidence. Like he really gives them positive reinforcements to make them believe in themselves. Because I've always said, like, you know, in the NBA, there are so many talented players that are sitting on the bench chilling.
Yeah.
And then when you have a coach that can instill confidence in you, it goes a long way. And I just feel like that's what Brian Keefe brings to the table.
I mean, look at the players like Denny Avia, man. I mean, he's a confidence player. Where when his confidence is low, man, he's just almost unplayable. Where when his confidence is high, you know, this last season, man, or the season's still going on, but you know, this season, when his confidence is high, he broke out. You know, you got a guy who finally on the offensive side of the ball finally broke out and became a threat. So, you know, like you said, confidence is the name of the game for young players, man. Looking at this draft, man, we got number 2, number 26. Rumors have it, you know, we're going to move back into the lottery, you know, 51st. So, you know, if you look at certain players in the draft, especially later in the first round, like Khalil Ware out of Indiana, he's a guy where confidence has always been a question mark. So when you have what they have in DC as far as the scouting department is revamped, you got a coaching staff who knows how to develop. You got a front office who knows how to develop and find those diamonds in the rough in the draft. I mean, you have everything in place for this to be a successful place for young talent. So, no, I'm a big fan of Brian Keefe, man. Like I said, good dude, but I mean, Weston Still Jr. was a good dude, but he ain't no longer with us. But I mean, and it's not a popularity contest, you know what I mean? But you know, he knows what he's doing because when KD comes out and says that a lot of his development goes to Brian Keefe, that says a lot. So.
I know. Yeah, you know what? Hey, B, first of all, good to meet you, my brother. If I can call you B, my bad. Brandon Scott.
Yes, sir. Likewise.
You know what I'm saying? Every time you on, I'm usually in that. So it's good to be here with you. But a couple thoughts come to mind. One is, of course, kind of like what you're saying. This is the OKC model. You build your young group and you develop that continuity. And over time, man, you become good and you become a contender. I think that's dope. Cam Mingo, shout out to him. He's the biggest Wizards fan I think that I know on social media. And if he likes to move, you know, I'm a rock with you on that. But I'm thinking to myself how Bilal is kind of picking up where guys like Brad and John left off. He's in the community. He's taking pictures with the fans. He's at Howard University. He's doing the things that you need to do to become a marketable star. And he's got the talent that this team can build around moving forward. So how big of a component is he in terms of being tied to the head coach, so to speak? Is his success dependent on what Keefe does and vice versa?
Oh, absolutely. Because this is a big year, you know, for Bilal because – I mean, I'm gonna say a big year, but even though you do have some time with Bilal, because it's gonna take time offensively. You know, he came out of the draft very raw offensively, where defensively you see the potential. I mean, with his wingspan, with his instincts, with his, you know, how he uses his hands, how he gets in the passing lanes, he knows how to play defense. You know, he's got some dog in him because he's ready to dunk on some folks. So
he got some dog in him for real.
So I mean, he's got some serious dog, which we need in DC, man. So I think with him connected to Brian Keefe, man, I think Brian Keefe again has shown that he can get the most out of talent that is all-star talent. I mean, Kevin Durant's Hall of Famer. You know, hate him or love him, he's a Hall of Fame talent. I mean, Russell Westbrook, what he's done in the league. You know, James Harden.
Oh, for sure.
You know, so you know, Brandon Ingram to me is kind of KD 2.0. I like Ingram. I know we've been kind of connected to him a little bit, but he gets the best out of the talent. And he kind of made the comment during the press conference the other day where when he looks at a young player, he looks at what he could potentially do down the road. And that really rang true because look, year 2 in the rebuild, man. You know, the rebuild's going to take about a couple more years, man. Yeah. And so you've got to, you know, get these guys ready to contribute down the road, man. Because while I say it's going to take a little bit, it's not going to take as long as you think it's going to take. Because there's front office, man. There's a reason why they're connected to Josh Giddey. Because look, Will Dawkins has that connection going back to Oklahoma City. You know, Brandon Ingram is another name. So you know, you're going to see a lot more names connected to the Wizards because once you get this young core trained up and ready to roll, that's when you get that 1 or 2 pieces, and then you contend. So,
yeah, I guess that's where excitement comes in at.
I'll put Keith. Let me put this real quick. Some of the comments out there. Brian Keefe convincing. So this is from Dan says Brian Keefe convincing Jordan Poole to the bench midseason and become more productive shows how he can make these adjustments based on player development for Bilal and Corey. In my opinion, Cam said Brian Keefe unleashed. These Corey's balling, bro.
I don't dislike Corey. I just Cam Thomas guys.
Young guys like Danny Poole, Bilal Kispert, and even Vujacic late down the stretch. I want to speak about that. How do you feel like? What were your thought process on his build up of Vujacic? You know, I felt like he did a good job even with his growth process.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up because that's another key aspect too of Brian Keefe is that he puts these players in the best position to be successful. You know, Vucevic, man. You know, you see the potential to be a rim protector, but his lateral movement on defense needs work because you saw a lot of teams were targeting him. You know, he struggles against faster guards, which a lot of centers do, especially when you hit that 7-foot mark, man, you're going to struggle with these faster guards. So it's just something that everybody experiences. But offensively, He ain't too bad, man. He ain't too shabby. I mean, you know, he can definitely ball. Now he needs to be developed further, but with this young cast, he got the best out of him. He put them all in the best position to succeed. You know, he kind of made up all the deficiencies that West did, which is West didn't make a lot of adjustments, especially at halftime. I mean, adjustments were never made. Brian Keefe was making adjustments on the go. You know, if you look at lineups, West kind of stuck with the same lineup. And again, he waited forever to kind of go tall when Marvin Bagley and Gaff at the time, where, you know, Brian Keefe kind of looked at the game plan and said, look, this is the type of opponent where we can go large. You know, we can go put Bagley at the 4 and Vuk at the 5, or, you know, at the time Gaff. So he knows how to coach, man. And I think this was the best opportunity for him to finally get that head coaching gig because, again, if you look at his track record, and I always look at resume, his resume speaks for itself. I mean, you know, his first job was underneath Greg Popovich as a video coordinator, but you know, but you're not going to be in the room at the Spurs facility and not learn something from Popovich. You know what I mean?
True.
So he knows how to coach. And if you look at David Vanderpool, because they retained him, he's another great basketball mind that is the top assistant coach. They're going to develop this young talent. So, you know, I kind of said this on my channel, man. I said, you know, a lot of people were kind of, you know, 50-50 about it. I said, look, I get it why you're skeptical, but this is a new era, man. You know, there's no more Ernie Grunfeld or Tommy Shepard. Like, you have a front office where they know what they're doing. They know how to build through the draft, which we always we miss through the draft every year on the Ernie Grunfeld, man. And then, you know, Ernie always traded first round picks and then for talent that we didn't end up re-signing.
Yamahimi, Nicholson.
Bogdanovich. I mean,
PTSD goes back a long way. Jan Vesely was part of that.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started on Jan Vesely.
You know, Wole, it's been a while since I covered the Wiz. Scott Brooks was the coach, and Scott Brooks was known for player development when he came in as well, to be honest with you. I mean, you seen Reggie Jackson in the playoffs. That's Scott Brooks for real. You know, that's part of his track record. So I'm not going to just jump all in on the excitement team.
Appreciate it.
I'm not going to jump in, like I said, on the excitement train. However, historically, Brandon, not just recent, you look at Rasheed Wallace, Rip Hamilton, Ben Wallace, all these ex-Bullet/Wizards that go on to win chips. And now we're about to have either Daniel Gafford get a chip or Porzingis. And what I want to know is what you said about Keith being a player development guy. Do the Wizards right now look like a team that is a good farm system, like they develop guys and send them out to win championships? Or are these guys just landing on the right teams with stars?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. That's a good question. I mean, you know, you could say that the Wizards have been like a minor league system for every other team in the league, man. But I will say this, man, because a lot of people get on me because I'm very enthusiastic about this new regime, man. Which, if everybody knows me, man, look, when it's time to get smoked, I have no problem getting smoked. I will give you my opinion. But underneath this new regime, I am optimistic because look at the Cap City Go-Go. Look how much young talent they had down there where they're training these guys up for when the call happens. They're playing high-level basketball. Jules Bernard, Champagnie. I mean, the last 2 point guards we signed the NBA standard contracts, their work started at the Go-Go. We're looking at Goodwin and Jared Butler. So they're doing a great job down there as kind of being that minor league branch to the Wizards, man, because we have a lot of young talent. There's talent that haven't even reached the Wizards yet. I mean, RJ Hampton's down there with the Go-Go. Was it Hamidou Diallo? So you have they're doing a good job getting these guys ready to play. So I think that a lot of the conceptions you have about the Wizards are going to change. Because I get it, and that's why I tell people I get it, man. I still got PTSD from many years because we've heard a lot of lip service from the Wizards upper management, man. And, you know, what they're trying to do and this and never happens. You know, we looked at eras with Gilbert Arenas and John Wall where they were one player away from being a threat. And I always thought that Paul George with John Wall and Bradley Beal, I'm trying to tell you, that's a championship.
Yeah, Grunfeld signed Otto. I remember that's where John Wall and Otto Porter had their falling out because he was still trying to campaign to bring in Paul George. He said, I love Otto, but it's a difference between a role player and a star. That year, Paul Pierce on the squad, if John Wall doesn't hurt his hand, I believe that's the Eastern Conference Finals team at worst.
And then Otto won a championship and go to state. That's what's up.
Again, it's a great farm system.
And he won a championship and go to state.
What's he allowed with stars, though, Wole? That's why we asked the question.
Hey, he helped him out. He helped him win a championship. He did. He was a starter, and they started him, not a bench player. Yeah.
Hey, 100%. I know you're a Georgetown guy, though. I see you.
Yeah, exactly. I am. That's why I said that.
Hey, you know we bang with Otto, though. Otto was always cool. He's always a good dude. You got a question, I believe.
Danny said, I believe Danny Avdia will be the best player on the Wizards next season. What is his ceiling on taking next step on becoming a great player?
Oh, his ceiling is Luka, because that's what he thought he was. Because the way he looked over, man, his handles that long range for real.
Hey, that's a question for you, Brandon. Go ahead.
I'll say this, man.
Daddy, I'm not going. Yeah.
I'll say this, man. Not this season, but next season, he's gonna be an all-star. I'm gonna tell you why, man. Because this is the season or the season coming up where he's got to show that consistency. He's got to put a stamp on who he is of being that 3-and-D guy. We knew he broke out this previous season, but he needs to put a stamp on it because very well he could have that slump afterwards, man. He's got to officially be that guy, have that dog, man. Like we said with Denny, it's always confidence. Now with more responsibility, like I said, I like to see him be a secondary ball handler. You know, because if you show with him being a secondary ball handler, you know, with that vision, utilize his strengths. We know there's things he needs to work on. Left hand, he needs to develop a mid-range. Definitely needs to work further on the 3-point shot, even though the 3-point shot looks a lot faster and crisper. But, you know, he's got work. But I think that if he keeps to work on, you know, definitely evolves as an offensive guy, man, he could be an all-star the year after next, in my opinion.
So what's the ceiling you think? I know Luka was extreme for Wale. I'm sorry. What you think, you know, if you had to compare him to somebody, who you think he's comparable to?
Oh, man. Look, I mean, Luka's not a bad comp, man, because Luka's kind of a Swiss Army knife, and that's kind of Denny. Like Denny's kind of a Swiss Army knife, where, you know, I mean, I'm not saying he's gonna be Luka because
I'm laughing at his face, bro. You good? I'm okay with it.
That's a whole other level, man. Because Luka does some things, man.
You talked about Keefe and his development. James Harden became a great passer over the years.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's something
I thought. Denny can pass. I'll give him that. Denny can pass.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's like bad comparisons. You compare to stars. Maybe you say a poor man's. Maybe is that?
I mean, he can pass. He can pass. There's a lot of good big fours who can pass, or 3 fours who can pass. He can pass.
I just think he had a mentality. If you get that,
I just think that Luka. I think Denny's creativity with the basketball needs a lot of improvement for him to be in Luka, because Luka plays at his own pace, and his creativity with the basketball, even at that slow pace, is still remarkable. Denny is still a right-handed dribbler, he has to. If you're gonna do anything, like, he's still one-dimensional. He goes strong right. He was better at going left this year, so I'll give him credit. He was slightly better going left because he did try to utilize going left. His pull-up, his mid-range is in the mid-range because he still doesn't shoot it enough. He shoots set threes. There's so much that he needs to evolve it to be that player that I can't say he's going to be a great player, but I can see him as a farm system player like Ray talked. We was talking about other players. I can see him leaving Washington and win a championship somewhere. I think he's that type of player. He's not like, truth be told, I mean, people don't like what makes him so much better than, say, like an Otto Porter. What makes him that much better than an Otto? Like, for real talk, not to be funny, but what makes him?
I think his handles.
His handle ain't that great, and it's right-handed. It's a right-handed dribble, right? And he don't get by nobody on his pack. We're going off of his. We saw him. Yeah, we going off. I'm talking about NBA, bro. Like,
I'll tell you what, man. I'll tell you what separates him.
His defense,
footwork. Look at Luka, man. Look at Luka. He ain't faster than nobody. Like, Luka is all footwork.
His footwork is real. Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna ask you two real quick. What center in the NBA history has the best footwork ever, man?
Kim Olajuwon.
Easy, boom. And because his footwork could teach classes.
Yes.
I mean, that man could teach a college class on just footwork, man. And then if you look at the NBA now, you know, look, because we talk about it in past shows, man. Look, these guys come from Europe on their way, man. And the reason why they're playing high level basketball is because they're teaching them the ins and outs of the game of basketball, using a pivot foot, using your footwork. You know, AAU, man, because I played ball in AAU coming up, man, and they lost that touch with the fundamentals, man. You know, we're teaching our kids to dunk the basketball, shoot, threes from the logo, but we're not teaching them how to use their body. Footwork is something they don't teach anymore. Yeah, these guys are coming over from Europe, man, and they know the footwork. They're polished as far as the technical part of the game, and Denny he carries that, the footwork. Nothing but I guess he's one of those players where he does a lot of things good, but he doesn't do like one thing.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
Can I ask you a question real quick? And Wale, do you mind if I go off script just for a second?
Go ahead, bro. Of course. Go ahead.
Because I know Brandon has talked about this before, and Wale, you as well, that there's been just conversations around Kyle Kuzma about him being traded. And we're talking about building around guys like Denny and Bilal. So something that you can get good return for Kuzma. And one scenario that just came up recently was New Orleans might consider taking him. And would you consider receiving Zion Williamson to go along with like a Keefe as a coach? Would you even entertain that at all? Would either of you guys consider that being a good fit in Washington, or would that hurt the development of these younger guys we're discussing?
How could they get Zion? How could they get Zion with what?
With the Kyle Kuzma and the draft capital they have, considering they have a top pick.
Oh, it's not going to get Zion. Now with this draft, they ain't getting no Zion.
I'll say this about Zion, man. I mean, you see the potential. And I'm not gonna harp on this off the court stuff, but I mean,
what are you wrong off the court?
I mean,
Wole, don't do that, man. You know, everybody
anything wrong. What they do?
Don't do that, man.
I ain't gonna do
that. I've seen your post on that stuff. Like, what man doesn't like this and that? Like, bro, like, chill, man. You know that did Pac-Man Jones in, bro. Let go ahead. We talking about basketball, bro.
I mean, we talking about technical stuff, right? I mean, the pullout game's weak. That's all I'm gonna say, man. But you know, you need to work on that. But
oh no! Wow! Didn't see that one coming, man.
Okay.
I mean, Zion is a talent. Zion's a talent, man. Where when he figures it out, man, he could have been a face. Now I think Anthony Edwards is kind of leapfrogged him a little bit, but
he did leapfrog.
Sure. But here's my thing, though, man. And you know what? Hate him or love him, but this is what I like about LeBron James. He invests over $1 million. I mean, he got the money. I mean, but he invests $1 million in his body. Why? Because he knows, man, that there's a big difference between being an average guy and being that all-star and that star. Is that amount of work you put into your body, your game in the off-season, man. That's why you see a lot of guys playing ball in the gym, because look, ball's all year long. It's not something you start and just end. It's an all-year job, man. So, we were talking about Commanders earlier, talking about Emmanuel Forbes, man, and a lot of people talking about his size, which is, look, Aaron Donald look big the way he does because he's put in that work in the gym. Like, you've got to put in that work, man. And so, that's kind of where I'm at with Zion, man. Like, you're a grown man. Nobody should force you to take the fork out your mouth. Like, you know what I mean? You should get your body ready for the NBA season, because look, with a dietitian and a chef, he's a star, easy. If he gets his body right, he's a star, easy.
So you would take him to Washington? Go ahead, though. Go to the question, boy.
No, I mean, I wouldn't take him to Washington, man. I mean,
you better take a while. I mean, in a second, but I don't think Washington has the collateral to get Zion.
Nah, but I mean, he's got too much going on, man. I mean,
I'd say Zion in a second. Don't give Zion. You saw Zion in the postseason before he got hurt. Zion was dominating.
Yeah, I like Zion,
that was
man.
Different level. That was different level. Washington don't got nobody like Zion to ever do it.
You know what? I changed my mind. I'm gonna tell you why. You kind of sway me. I'm gonna say this. In an environment where he has a coaching staff and a management to hold him to a standard, he could flourish. Yeah. Now, New Orleans is kind of like, oh man, I don't want to get on him too much because I don't want to lose him.
That's the problem.
They kind of let him do whatever he wants. You need somebody who's gonna be like, look, man, look, you need to start eating right, putting that work in, and you'll get where you need to get. You need somebody that's gonna be a disciplinarian on him, man, because the Pelicans are like, yo, I don't want to be too hard on him because I don't want him to leave. Because you saw Anthony Davis bounce. So, that's kind of why they're, using kid gloves. And that's the last thing he needs. He needs somebody to get into him, man. Like, look, you need to change some things. And that's why I think they need a veteran guy. And CJ McCollum, nothing against him, but they need the guy who's going to be that fellow star is going to be like, look, man, get into him, man. You know what I mean? And you see that, like, guys with LeBron, or, LeBron has no problem getting on his teammates, man, So I think that's the best thing for him, is that with his situation, he needs to find somewhere where they're going to hold him to a standard. New Orleans, man, they need to change some things, because you see so many guys leave New Orleans. I mean, Anthony Davis bounce. I mean, when you have that much of a turnaround when it comes to homegrown stars, that says a lot about your organization. There's nothing against the Pelicans, but I'm just being 100.
I think I changed my mind. I don't think he should come to DC.
Stay away from that brunch. Stay away from that.
I just thought about that. There's too much going on.
Stay away from stadium.
Rose Bar. You gotta stay away from Rose Bar. You gotta stay away from stadium. Yeah. Maybe I take that back. He should come to DC. That's not a good.
I mean, we may need him, man, because I mean, if he can kind of show Emmanuel Forbes how to gain weight, I mean, I think that it can kind of work itself out, man. But
it balances out. We got a question real quick from Danny. Danny said, "Can Marvin Bagley replace the production of what Daniel Gafford did before getting traded?" I thought it was a great trade for the Wizards, getting Marvin and also getting another first-round pick. I like what Marvin Bagley was doing prior to the injury. I thought he got to show his value. I've said this before, like Like there are so many talented dudes in the league, and Marvin Bagley is one of them. Like he was just in a situation in Detroit, which is weird. The situation in Detroit was just weird for him. You know what I mean? Like when he got the opportunity to play and get minutes, he put up numbers. He was a double-double type of dude. You saw it in Washington when he got the opportunity. When you gave him 30 minutes, he was an automatic double-double. So to answer your question, Dan, I think, he can definitely – I think he could do what Gafford did and some. But I want to get your thought process on that.
Absolutely. I mean, everything comes down to right fit and right system, right? I mean, Sacramento has some things going on. Detroit, just a mess. You know, he found the right spot here in DC. You know, his ability to not only provide rebounding, you know, interior defense, interior scoring.
He's making threes.
He's hitting mid-ranges. He's hitting threes. I mean, this guy's – and he's another player where, you know, his motor was always questioned. Yeah. We saw what you can do when he's got a high motor. This guy is a fringe all-star when he's got a high motor. I mean, I think with his age, you know, here's the thing with the Wizards is that everybody's looking through the draft, and rightfully so, but you got some players on the roster who at their age fit the timeline. If you get them right, he's what, 24? I mean, he fits the timeline. He ain't close to his prime, and you see what he can do. So he's another guy I think he should be here long term, in my opinion.
Ray, what's your thoughts on Bagley?
Kind of like what he said about Zion, potential.
Yeah.
You know the potential is there. He has the dog mentality. Like, he doesn't fear anybody. That's one thing I love about him. And that's a guy that you need on your squad to set a tone. To say, you know what, I don't care what the other team's jersey says. I don't care what the name on the back is. We're going at these guys. That's how you win games. Something about the Wizards a few years ago that I loved was, even though their record wasn't the greatest, they always played well against the better teams. They could beat the Lakers. They could go on the road and beat the Clippers. They could go. This was, and I want to say some of Brad's better years where they would compete against the better teams. They would lose. They would come home and they would lose to, let's say, I'm trying to think of a good example. I don't want to insult nobody's squad out here, but
you should though. You should insult somebody's squad.
I'm not trying to. But
you mean like Charlotte? Charlotte? They would
come on lose Charlotte or Brooklyn. But
but
they could beat. They would beat the Lakers, or they would beat
the Warriors,
the Kings or the Jazz. They beat the Warriors. And my point is, it speaks to mentality because you have the confidence you can go against those guys, and that's who Marvin Bagley is for me. Is Marvin Bagley believes in himself that much that he can go out and play against anybody and compete and succeed. So that's what I love about him. I love Gafford though. I'm not gonna lie, man. I hated to see him go. I mean, if you're gonna get something in return, definitely that was a good return. I agree with Daniel on that. But it's levels to this. Just like somebody I remember posted. Matter of fact, it was my man Troy. He saw when Gafford first went up against, as a Wizard, Gafford first went up against Jared Allen. He was like, Jared Allen's showing him his levels to this. And I think Gafford has emerged as that guy. Like Kyrie feels like he's the single most important component that was added to make that team elevate to a championship caliber squad.
And he's also playing with Luka, so it makes life easier. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I'm talking about defensively and just that mentality, man. And
he's always had defense. I'm not giving credit. He's always had defense, but it's always going to be easier when you're playing with Luka. Like you're getting layups, you're not here in DC. He was asked, like, you look at what he was asked to do in DC without a true like a playmaking point guard. He was in a post. They had post plays designed for him, and they're not doing that with him in Dallas. It's pick and dive. Who you worried about, him or Luka?
Yeah, I'd say, man,
life is easier. You're right.
Yeah, life is easier.
Oh yeah,
and Kyrie, and Kyrie is even worse because Kyrie over pick and roll with Gafford is crazy. Like you're not leaving Kyrie.
Nah,
just off the second move alone. He
made his name here in DC. That I feel as though
he did.
His value was skyrocketed.
No, I agree.
Because of what he did in Washington.
I agree. I just said I feel like you put. The reason why I said Bagley is more versatile out of all that type, like Bagley can shoot the mid range. Gafford doesn't shoot the mid range.
For sure.
Like so, there's so much Bagley can do, and he's like Brandon said, he's still growing as a player, and which I do like. Brian Keefe for him is that like now you got a coach who's going to continue to get the best out of you. Look at like you two have talked about his track record in terms of who he's groomed. You know what I mean? We talk about Kevin Durant. Now Bagley's under that tree where we can see you can get the potential out of him. And because you saw glimpses of it last year.
Yeah, Marvin, I think they need to consider signing him to an extension, man. Because I think that again, he hasn't hit his prime yet. And he's another fringe all-star, in my opinion. He's found the right system in the right spot in DC, man. So I've been a big fan of him since Duke, man. So
He just got to start. That's what it is. He just has to start. If they start him, I believe, like, yeah, but I mean, he just got to start and get minutes. Dandy has one more question. Great show, fellas. In your opinions, who will the Wizards draft with the second pick overall? Brandon, I'll start with you. Who do you? We talked about this before, but who do you? Has your decision changed?
I think that the best way to answer that is what did they do in the later stage of the first? Because what they do with the 26, or if they trade back in, is going to determine how they go at number 2. Okay. If they stay pat, you're probably looking at whoever the Atlanta doesn't get. I mean, if Alex R, if they go with Riyadh Zhang, I can see them going with Riyadh Zhang. I can see Stephon Castle. But if they trade back into the lottery, which I definitely think they should, and that's the best way to. I mean, because look, we were talking about Kuz earlier about trading Kuz. Kuz in the 26. You look at teams right now in the top 10 who need that immediate help. Memphis at number 9. They need somebody in Memphis to help dry out, man. Number 5 at Detroit. That's a homecoming for Kyle Kuzma. And I think that's a win now situation to a certain, even though they were worse than we are, which says a lot. But the reason for that is, look, they need K to stay. They need to get better. They need to show that they're trying to make some progress. Or K could walk, man. I mean, there's really right now, there's no reason for him to sign an extension other than the fact that, because of him being a restricted free agent, they have that leeway. But they need to win now. So I think that with him being the homecoming, number 5 would be good. Number 10, Utah. Let's see, number 13, number 15, Miami. There's a lot of opportunities to trade back in. So if we stand pat at 26, I'm probably going to grab Riyadh Zhang if they don't grab him, or Alex R if he falls to 2. And I'm going to try to go from there, because there's some good names in the second half. But if they trade back into the first or in the lottery, man, I mean, I talked about Klingen. I mean, 7'3", 280 pounds. I mean, he's got the NBA body, man. And you pair him with Marvin Bagley III, man. I mean, they ain't too bad in the front court. So I think the biggest thing was, what did they do in the later stages, man? Do they trade back in? Did they stand pat at 26? I think that's going to determine, because, we need a center. And I think Bags is the type of player where I see him as a better fit at the 4. I think if you could pair, absolutely, if you could pair him with a 7-footer, I think that's a really good front court, and that can expedite the rebuild, in my opinion. So Kling is a guy I'm looking at. But again, if you can grab Edey or Ware later in the first round, then you probably go with Stephon Castle, because I like his size. Topic was a guy that was named, but he now is official today that he tore his ACL. So I don't think he's now his draft stock's gonna drop. So
So you don't like Shepard?
Nah, man, I need some defense. I mean, we need because look, Jordan Poole, hate or love, is probably gonna be our starting point guard. So you need a 2 guard who's gonna be able to defend, man. Yeah,
I mean, how many UConn guys do we expect to go in the first round? At least 3, correct?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're gonna stay at the top of the draft, you might as well take the best option. But what do you think about trading back with a team like Utah and taking like a Ron Holland, who has a year of professional basketball under his belt, and also he brings athleticism and size to the table, which, depending on what the identity of his team is going to be, that's what you need today. You need athletes. You need guys that are big, that are strong, that can defend, because that's how you stay in basketball games if you're not shooting the greatest, which the Wizards have gone on droughts in the past that we've seen. So, yeah, what's your thoughts on a guy like Ron Holland, who also is versatile? He can play different positions at 6'8".
Yeah, I like Ron, man. And 6 months ago, he was supposed to go number 1. So,
I know. I mean, that's what I'm saying. What I mean? He's raw.
Yeah, he's versatile. He's got a dog in him. I mean, he can defend. I mean, he's got offensive potential. I mean, yeah. I mean, he's a guy that I would love in this draft. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This draft is weird because a lot of experts are low on it, but this is perfect for a team like the Wizards because it's a highly developmental draft. There's stars in this draft. You just got to develop them. They got to be in the right systems, in the right environment to excel, man. I mean, Riyadh Zhang, I'm not big on him like a lot of people are, even though I see the 3-and-D potential, but he's a guy that in the right system could be developed into a really good player. I mean, so from 1 to 15, I think we're going to be shocked in this draft, man, because there's really no clear-cut number 1 to number 15. I mean, you've seen a lot of names that started out way back in the draft. Now they're in the top 10. I mean, Tijan Salon, he's another guy at 4, man. His name's been coming up. Monta Bazelis, he's another guy that's been, again with Khalil Ware. So I think there's going to be a lot of different scenarios with a lot of teams, man. I think there's going to be a lot of trades because, like I said, Houston number 3, they need help. So I know they've been talking to Memphis at 9 to move up. So, I mean, Donovan Clingan has been linked to Memphis because, I mean, you put Clingan in there with Jaren Jackson, man. I'm trying to tell you. So,
No, it could definitely be some damage. Hey, but Brandon, man, thanks for being on. Before we let you go, man, how can folks check you out, check the show out, and also how can they catch you on social media?
Yes, sir. Well, I'm on Locked On Wizards, man, on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. I'm doing Commanders content on Washington Football Maniacs, and I contribute to Bleacher Report, man. So I'll be there a couple times later this month. Catch me on Twitter, or AKA X, Brandon_7 Scott. Check me out.
Still Twitter.
I know,
right? For sure.
Don't listen to that trash. It's still Twitter. All right, Brandon, man. Thanks for being on, man. We appreciate you, homie, as always.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys, man.
All right, man. Stay blessed, bro.
All right, man.
Yeah, Brandon's dope, man. Good Wizard content, man. I can't believe y'all think so highly of Denny. That's cool though, man. We talked about the NBA. We talked about some former Wizards in the NBA Finals. So let's just talk about the NBA Finals right now, bro. Game 1 of the NBA Finals starts tomorrow in Boston at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, between the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. Ray, are you excited about these finals?
Absolutely. Remember, we talked with Just Blaze at the start of the playoffs. We said this would be one of the better matchups the NBA could ask for, and we've gotten it, which is kind of dope. I wish we could play that back, because at the time, we thought that Denver was so thorough that it would be tough for Dallas to get there. Lo and behold, Dallas didn't have to go through Denver, which we didn't know that was going to happen. Shout out to the Minnesota Timberwolves for just making an unbelievable run. But getting back to your question, I'm excited because the Kyrie element, I think, is the most polarizing aspect of this, because of his history in Boston, because of that fan base. And I know that's been a discussion, but also Tatum and Brown swept him last time they faced him in the playoffs in Brooklyn. And he played so well against Marcus Smart, who's an excellent defender, as we know, but
Drew better though. Drew better defender.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying. So he could not get Brooklyn over the hump. You get swept, and you playing with another Hall of Fame guy, KD. Now you're playing with Luka, who I'm not saying he's KD yet, but he's going to be a Hall of Famer at some point as well.
Yeah, great.
Can you exploit that matchup where there is nobody on Boston that can guard Luka, period? And it's going to be interesting to see who defends him early on. I think Brown you got to go with, who's a little undersized, but Brown has that dog. I think Tatum is food for Luka, unfortunately. So
do you really? Because Tatum is a good defender, though. Do you see how Tatum defended Kevin Durant?
It's not about him. It's about Luka, how real Luka is, and how.
Do you think Luka's better than Kevin Durant? Because he did a really good job on Kevin Durant.
He's stronger than Kevin Durant.
That's fair.
That's the difference. See, Kevin Durant, I think, is a little easier for Tatum to defend than Luka, because, like y'all said, the footwork and the strength. And Luka's so good at drawing.
He's a hard cover. He's a hard pause. He's a tough cover. I'm with you. Like I'm with you on that. Like, I don't. All right, this is my thing. No one checking Luka. Period. Nope. No one checking Kyrie for real. You're gonna have to you gotta make it that's the one thing. You gotta make it difficult for them. That's all. Like, you're not gonna shut down Kyrie Irving. You're not gonna shut down Luka. You're not gonna shut down. I mean, Jason Tatum shuts down himself. Like, that's how I look at it. He shuts down himself because he settles. Jason Tatum settles a lot. Jaylen Brown. I feel like, all right, this is my thing about this series. I'm excited about this series. First, let me start there. I am excited about this series. But I do think this series has a lot to offer, which is this series is different from anything Dallas has pretty much had to go against, because you do have a good overall defensive team in Boston. You do have, like, as much as you say, like, Luka can score on Tatum, but he's still relatively 6'11", 7 foot. So she'd be able to bother Luka's shot. He can't body Jason Tatum like he bodied anybody on the Timberwolves squad. Like, it's going to be a tougher draw for him to score. But I don't know if I want Tatum on Luka like that anyway, because I don't want Tatum in foul trouble. You dig what I'm saying? So, because you put a superstar on another superstar, why would you want your superstar in foul trouble? But you do have bodies that you can rotate on Luka. Like, Jaylen Brown's a good defender. Like, I've talked, like, Jaylen Brown's him coming into the league was a good defender, so he can play defense. Your star players, the thing they have different compared to Dallas is that their star players can play defense. Luka and Kyrie aren't known to be defensive players, right? And we're going to talk about these individuals later, but I do think that, Kristaps Porzingis is scheduled to come back and play in game 1. He looks like he's going to be ready for game 1. I do think he's the X factor because of what we talked about. We could talk about Lighty and also Gafford, what Porzingis is going to provide for that team with their ISO players. And we're going to talk about that later, but I'm just saying, like, I do think this matchup for Luka and Kyrie, unless they go ham and go in, like this is going to be a real hard series compared to others. Can they do it? Definitely, because they're the best ISO players, and to me, they're the best ISO players in this finals. Yeah, they're the best ISO players. You know what I'm saying? So
I want to give you a shout out because we've been covering the NBA for quite a while. We covered Jaylen Brown as a rookie, that all-black game, Washington Wizards versus Boston Celtics. And from the time you see him play, you say, I like this kid. He's going to be a star. I think he's a star. And that's before anybody thought he would be a star. Yeah. Obviously, he had a ton of athletic ability. He was raw. Like, you could see it. But that's somebody that you always liked. And to be honest with you, although I'm with Steve, I'm going to pick the Mavs as well. That's what I've been rolling with throughout the playoffs. But if the Celtics are going to win, I would love to see Jaylen Brown be Finals MVP. Just
I think he deserves it.
He was Eastern Conference Finals MVP because he deserved it. Because he's the guy that makes that team go. He has that dog. He has a different mentality than he did as a rookie, and he should. I mean, obviously he's draw. Also, he has an edge because he knew that KD was in the discussion in terms of being traded. So I like that the fact he's basically demanding that star attention. Also, he's going to earn the bag, and I would love to see him excel. That's just one of the exciting elements to this series. But I think what it comes down to is who's going to have the most success. Is it going to be him or Luka? And then also the role players. I said this last series. Pritchard is the best guy you got coming off the bench. You got Hauser, but they're not that deep. PJ Washington has stepped up huge in this playoffs. Daniel Gafford, Lively. I just feel like, and then Tim Hardaway Jr., if he comes to play, Dallas, I feel like it's just a deeper team, but Kristaps is that key piece. If Kristaps comes back, then it's pretty even. I'm
gonna tell you why it's different but deep. I think they're deeper than you think. This is why I think that like on their five is deeper than what you think. So if you look at what Dallas has to like, all right, look at Dallas and what they had to go against, right, to post to the finals. Like they had to pretty much worry about one dude predominantly in all of the situations they played. Truth be told. So you look at the first series, they had to worry about Shea. So they had to gear everything to Shea to stop Shea. That's one. They played against was Shea the first series or was it the second series? I could be wrong. What was their first round matchup?
No, they played the Clippers first.
Sorry, the Clippers. They played the Clippers in that first round matchup, right? They played the Clippers. Kawhi didn't play, so they was missing a star. They're missing their real go-to guy. They played Dallas. They were worried about Shea. They played Minnesota. What was Minnesota's? There was the key. Like, who's the only dude that can create on his own? It was one person. You're going against Boston, where you have two. You have three players who create their own shots. They can't gang up anymore. Like their defensive scheme doesn't work anymore. They can't gang up. They got to worry about Tatum. They got to worry about Jaylen Brown. And they got to worry about White. Sorry, truth be told, they got to worry about Drew in terms of in the post. They have four players they have to worry about who can create offense on their own, which is different, right? That makes them deep in this series for Dallas. Because now Dallas can't. If you look at Dallas' game plan against Minnesota, their game plan was to funnel everything against their ISO player. The ISO player was Anthony Edwards. So they pretty much pushed everybody to Anthony Edwards, and all Cat was doing is taking perimeter shots because Cat ain't creating any shots from nobody. And he's not creating on the ISO. So this situation, I think they're much deeper with those four. And also, when you bring out Chris KP, now you lose the with the ISO players, you lose the ability for Gafford to stay and be a rim protector because now Gafford has to move up. You do the screen roll with Tatum and Porzingis. Now you got to honor it. So now your Gafford's not down there anymore. So now you have if truth be told, now you have the lane. You can do the pick roll with Jaylen Brown. If say and my man Dan said Derrick Jones will be on Tatum. All right, if Derrick Jones is on Tatum, then you can run it with Jaylen Brown. So now Luka has to play that action. You can put Luka in the action. You got Derrick White. Luka has to play that action. Like now you can utilize. Now you can take advantage of Luka more. So now Luka can't hide. So I'm just saying, like this matchup that they do have, their star players can't hide anymore. Like they can't hide. Luka's gonna be on who? Drew, Derrick White. You can't hide those dudes anymore. Luka can hide against Minnesota. He can hide. Kyrie can hide too if he wanted to. Like Kyrie can hide. Like them dudes can't hide anymore, which makes it more difficult in my opinion. Okay. This is a series they can't hide it. They can't hide.
So it's going to be a chess match. I agree. And style of play matters.
Yeah, it does.
One thing that stands out to me is that Jaylen Brown after game one of the Pacers series said they play hella fast. They sped us up and we can't handle it. They were tired. This is why Tatum didn't have legs in the fourth quarter because Huh? I'm not saying they do. I'm not. That's why I said styles of play matter. I'm not saying
it does. Though. Facts.
However, you're going to be forced to defend in a capacity that it will impact you and your level of stamina down the stretch.
I agree.
Unfortunately, the Pacers didn't have a closer, but the Mavericks do. And I feel like if the Mavericks are able to impose their will offensively, I think that shorter rotation, that's where it hurts Boston. But you're absolutely right in terms of Dallas. Dallas is who they are defensively. They've improved, but against a team that multiple guys can get a bucket and create, that is going to be a challenge. That's why I said it is going to be a chess match. It's going to be interesting. But if I had to lean one way right now, again, I'm totally objective because I would love to see Jaylen Brown succeed and Tatum for that matter.
I would love to see Jason Kidd get the championship. That's one of my favorite players. I'm not going to lie to you. That's why, truth be told, go ahead.
Oh, no, just real quick. If you're a Kyrie fan, this is what he always wanted, to kind of do it in a situation where he was one of the main guys. If not, he's not playing in the shadow. He's a legit co-star.
He is the legit co-star. Like, he's getting his flowers right now.
Versus LeBron, he was part of the supporting cast. He didn't want that. So
exactly. Agreed.
Either way is dope. I'm not even trying to act like, oh, this is going to happen. No, but I think right now I'm just leaning toward, I think Dallas is going to put a lot of pressure on Boston defensively because of what they bring to the table. And that could impact their legs down the stretch. It could.
Yeah, I just think that I've also I want Jason Kidd to get champion. I like Jason Kidd a lot. Like, I want him to get championship. I want Kyrie to, real talk. I want Kyrie to get championship. I want Kyrie to be vindicated. Like for what the league did to him and what public, some of the sports talk folks was doing to him and whatnot. Yeah. You even had Stephen A. Smith come out and say, like, I'm a bigger man. I apologize to Kyrie. You're doing it now because in the NBA Finals, jerk. Like, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't say that if we didn't make the NBA Finals. But that's a whole different conversation.
Their apology tour has been sick. I mean, even Jalen Brunson, they said he was a bad pickup for the Knicks because he didn't have star potential. And now they totally changed tunes. At least be consistent. That's my thing.
Yeah, soon as anyway, go ahead. But in terms of basketball, just how I just view, I think you're to me, if Kyrie and Luka averaging 25, 30, then they're gonna win the series. That's how I look at it. If they can't stop them at all like this, if they were doing what they did against Minnesota, I think that's fair. That's one of the most, that to me, they can go down as one of the best duos to ever play this game. The way they play, the way their run has gone so far. But I just think that what, like you said about being that type of offensive pressure being tiresome for Boston, on the flip side, I think that if you have to guard more, it's tiring for Luka and Kyrie. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So if you have to always, for instance, if you have to always be playing defense, worried about what if Drew Holiday, how I'm gonna check Drew Holiday, that's gonna take away from your offense. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that this series is interesting because I think it's gonna be about will. Real talk. It's about, and this is the thing, the key, and it's wild to say this. We're gonna talk about Porzingis, and he's a key, but to me, the key for Boston, or the key of the series period to sway the pendulum, is Jason Tatum. You know what I'm saying? It's dude, which Jason Tatum are you going to get? Are you going to get the dude who's trying to ball and the dude who's trying to prove that he's one of the top players in this league, one of the young gunners in this league? Because we're talking about Anthony Edwards. We're talking about Shea. We ain't talking about, for real talk, we're not talking about Tatum. Dude, we talking about Jaylen Brown over you, bro. Real talk. We talking about Tyrese Halliburton. We ain't talking about you. It's about, are you going to be the dude that everybody promotes as the next coming, but you really haven't showed up in big situations? It's now, if they don't win, I'm telling you, Boston don't win this series, it's because of Jason Tatum. It won't be because of Jaylen Brown. It's going to be because of Jason Tatum. And also, and added into that, it's going to be because of Luka and Kyrie. But on Boston's side, it's going to be because of Jason Tatum.
I agree with that. Let me ask you a question real quick, kind of like a follow-up, just to continue the dialogue, not a debate.
Yeah, I got you.
Because you made the point that defensive pressure is also going to be on Dallas, and that could create fatigue on their end too. Yeah. So my question is, if both teams, let's say, get fatigued because these stars do have to play heavy minutes, which bench are you trusting more? And I really trust Dallas' bench a bit more than both.
I don't think Dallas' bench is great, other than is Tim Hardaway Jr. is on the bench.
Yeah, he's on the bench. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think because PJ starts, right?
PJ starts.
Their bench ain't that thorough to me. Like I just think that to me they're all predicated. To me they're predicated on
what's the light skinned dude's name? Gosh, point guard.
Lightly. Oh, a Green.
Yeah, no, because he relieves Kyrie. He gives Kyrie.
Yeah, I don't think he's like it's Pritchard is just as good as
though,
him. Pritchard is just as good as him.
Pritchard may be a better shot maker, but I think he's a better defender than Pritchard because Pritchard's undersized.
I don't think
so
there's
that. Wash.
Yeah, I don't think there. To me, it's not a bench thing. It's not going to be depth thing because to me, Dallas wins because of two players. It's not even depth for real, bro. It's not even. That's not even a thing.
I mean, PJ Washington was a good
yeah. As a role,
I mean, he's in playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm sorry, PJ. I'm gonna give PJ his flowers. Light. These are starters though. These are starters.
But both teams are top heavy.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So,
it's tough, man. If you factor in Drew Holiday, I think that might actually you might want to lean toward Boston for real. It's just it's a matter of how these matchups play out.
Let me be real though.
Great chess match.
The most reliable duo. This is fair. I'm be real. The more reliable duo though is Kyrie Luka, and I'm not saying that because. Okay. And that's the issue. The most reliable duo between the two is Kyrie Luka, and and that's because for me it's because of Tatum. Tatum ain't reliable enough to me, to be real with you, dude. The game against the Pacers was a game one when Jaylen Brown said he decided to finally wake up.
Yeah,
bruh. But the commentators were saying that Jaylen Brown even he just. Stamped that. Commentators were saying that he stamped that. Jaylen Brown stamped that. So that's what I'm saying. Like he gotta be locked in for them to win the series. I'm gonna be real. He gotta be locked in for them to win the series.
That's what concerns me a bit, Wale, about why I want Jaylen Brown to be the leader of this team because the mentality. Because throughout the playoffs, and this isn't just this season, in past years, the Celtics every year they lose games they just shouldn't. Yes. I think they should have swept the Heat. They should have swept the Cavs.
Yes.
They were very close in games. I mean, the Pacers were up late in 2 or 3 of those games.
It shouldn't have been that close, bro. It really shouldn't have been that close.
That's what I'm saying. So that's my concern. With a team like Dallas, you see what Dallas did in Minnesota. When they wanted to turn it on and they delivered a knockout blow.
They turned up, bro. They turned up.
And see, that's where I think Kyrie's leadership is so important because he's like, y'all, we ain't won nothing yet. You know, and I think hopefully Drew Holiday can be that guy in Boston's locker room, but Jaylen Brown is the one that's going out like F that. I'm hooping.
He the one. He the one though. He the one that sets the tone.
It might hinge on Tatum, but I would love to see Jaylen Brown lead that squad, and if they're going to win it, get that Finals MVP.
No, I'm with you. I think I'm with you. I think Jaylen Brown. What I mean by that is Jaylen Brown can still outperform Tatum. Tatum still got to show up though. You just got to show up. I'm not saying it. I think Jaylen Brown will be, if they win, I think Jaylen Brown's going to be Finals MVP. That's just my opinion. But I just think that he's on one. He's been on one.
Yeah.
But I think Tatum just can't be. He can't be ghost.
Nah.
He got to be there. You know what I'm saying? Dog, we saw you watched the Indiana series. You be sitting there bro, are you going to do anything? Are you going to show out? If you're supposed to be if you're supposed to be an MVP caliber player, you need to impose your will early. Jaylen Brown look like he the dude before you. And you got way more natural ability than Jaylen Brown. That's the problem. You got way more natural ability compared to Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, again, it comes out of mentality. But I wonder because Boston, we already know if Tatum is on one, they blow people out because they're impossible to defend. Luka can't defend them either. You know, he can't defend Tatum when Tatum is actually scoring. But I'll be interested how this plays out. Game one is not going to be the greatest indication because that's always that fill out game early, and it's going to be in Boston. So we'll see who has that edge starting the game out. Kyrie doesn't give a daggone, and Luka he comes to hoop regardless of where they're playing at. Boston has more pressure in my eyes, but
I agree. They do have more pressure.
They have more pressure because everybody's been expecting them to be in this position.
Hell yeah.
But Dallas is we're here, and nobody thought we were going to be here. And they got a coach that he's done it at the highest level now as a coach, and in addition to being just one of the top point guards in history of the game. Yes. I just like Dallas. I really do. But again,
and he's the better coach in this series. And he's the better coach in this series too. He's the better coach.
He is. I gotta give Mazzulla credit. Mazzulla has beat out some better coaches to get to this point. I thought Carlisle was a better coach than him, and Carlisle made some critical errors in that game one win that affected the psyche of his young team. So
I agree with
Missoula got to show him some love. Young dude, younger than me and you, and he's coaching in the NBA
Right. No,
Finals.
facts.
That's a lot. I like his staff. Of course, he got DC Boy on his staff too. So I'm not thinking that it's easy for any of us to just pick a definitive winner. Shout out to Steve Fox earlier. He said Mavs in 6, and
shout out to Dan. They said Tatum's weakness is his complacency. Brown needs to ball out. I agree. But go ahead.
No. I was just saying. We're saying that both teams have 2 top stars. You lean toward Dallas in that matchup with the top 2, and then you look at the role players. You're saying it's about a wash based on the Drew Holiday effect and PJ Washington. Bench play. You don't have nobody but Tim Hardaway Jr. that you kind of respect coming off the bench for both teams. Then the coaching matchup goes to Dallas. So based on what you're saying, Dallas has got the edge going.
No, I think Boston has a better 5 than Dallas.
Okay.
Outside of the 2, I mean, like the supporting cast, I think Boston's supporting cast is better than Dallas.
Yeah, and see, Gafford and Lively being tough doesn't matter to a guy like
Al Horford. It don't matter to them. And the issue is that Al Horford probably comes off the bench now. Porzingis is healthy.
Porzingis back.
So
Porzingis
they strengthen the bench.
He's the interesting element.
So speaking of Porzingis, like we talked about, Gafford. We talked about this Wizard situation, man. We talked about it, man. We talked about Wizards as a farm system, but from using the Wizard theme, which former Wizards player will have the biggest impact in this series between Gafford and Porzingis? Excuse me.
Porzingis stretches the floor. Gafford makes Dallas a better rebounding and defensive team, which they desperately need. And if Porzingis, as we've seen in DC, if he's off, then he's like, why is he here? So I'm going to go with Gav. Gav has the potential to have a bigger impact than Porzingis. Porzingis has got to get his stamina back. He hasn't played competitive basketball in weeks. And he's probably 215 driven wet. So I feel like you put an arm on him. Gafford knows him from practices and from playing with him. I think he knows his strengths. I'll say Gafford probably has a bigger impact. Gafford is one of the key components as to why Dallas is where they are. Kyrie said it over and over again that he thinks that he just loves playing with them. So I'm going to go with Gafford on that one, especially considering a healthy Porzingis and seeing him rip through the playoffs. Let's say, because Boston with Porzingis probably could have came into the finals with no losses, like the Lakers did the year they played Allen Iverson and the Sixers. But Porzingis coming off injury, and Porzingis, he's just a little fragile to me physically. I'm again say Gafford.
We're talking about health and just like a situation. Like the unknown is the injury. But if he's good, Porzingis Porzingis will have the bigger impact. Just not even because of just individual plays, is what he's going to be able to provide spacing. It's all about spacing. Like now in a pick and pop, you got to honor like Al Horford when he shoots the 3. He shoots it from the 3-point line. Porzingis, you got to play. He got range. So you mentioned when he off. You're right. He off. You'd be like, what the hell? But when he on, he's on. And also, truth be told, adding that, Al Horford isn't a rim protector. Porzingis is a rim protector because he can block shots. So his impact is arguably probably. It's bigger if he is right. If this calf injury is all gone, he's the bigger impact because now Jason Tatum has more freedom going to the basket. The 3 ball is more dangerous because now, again, because of his range, the spacing is even thorough. And now you're taking Daniel Gafford out of the paint and you're putting him in the perimeter. And now that means the lanes are open. He's, to me, by far it can make the bigger impact. But to your point though, Ray, is he ready to play this high level series? You know what I'm saying? Because he hasn't played in the playoffs. And he may not be in basketball shape. So if he's not ready in terms of basketball shape, mentality, because we're talking about the finals, bro. Like he skipped the playoffs for real. Now he's in the NBA finals. The mentality is different. People are playing to win. We talk about loving March Madness. This is March Madness. For the NBA, this is March Madness. This is it. You know what I'm saying? This is the chance to win the championship. So in that regard, Gafford could have a bigger impact, but I just think that we're talking about total basketball, just what Porzingis provides in spacing, defense, shooting. He should have to make the bigger impact.
He should because he brings more to the table. But one could argue that if you look at the totality of their time in Washington, both guys, Gafford had bigger impact on the defensive end than Porzingis did. They still were horrible when Gafford was out. But when Porzingis was on the floor, I mean, some games he would have 5-6 blocks. Definitely.
Yeah.
But in terms of team defense, I don't think he really elevated the team like Gafford did. But again, it's arguable. Again, last season is one thing, but I'm talking about the totality. When Gafford was added to this roster, man, Gafford has that motor, that mentality that he never changes that. He always plays as if he's trying to keep his position in the league versus I feel as though Porzingis is a little more finesse.
As what? Defense? I think defense, he's weak side.
In general, he's a weak side guy, you know.
I think he plays.
You put an arm on him.
He'll bang on you. Yeah. I mean, he'll bang. He'll just shoot over you. They're different players.
Yeah, he's so tall.
They're different players. So it's just like, but what he brings to the table.
Team defense. How you think they impact the game?
I think weak side, Porzingis is really good football. Like, he's a good defender. I do like covering Porzingis. His weak side defense is like that. Like, it's just like that. Like, when he comes, like, he changes shots often. Like, Gafford, his height limits him. Like, his height. So when he plays against bigger dudes, taller dudes, not bigger, but taller dudes, it's hard for him. Like, when he plays against Embiid, it's harder for him. Like, those dudes like that. But Gafford, to me, again, is a weak side shot blocker. He's not an on-body. He's not an on-body defender. He's a weak side shot blocker. Same thing like Porzingis. They're both weak side defenders. You know what I'm saying? So they're similar, like, in terms of what they can provide. You're going up for a lay on the week, and then they showing on the other side, blocking the shot. That's what they do. So I don't think that his impact in DC, I think Gafford brought an energy. I give you that. Like, he did bring energy, so I do give you that. But in terms of, like, on the defensive side, they were both this comparable because their defense was trash anyway.
Sure. So what they mean to their teams, and that's the only reason I went with Gafford. You're right about what Porzingis brings to the table, but what Gafford means to the Mavericks is more
a lot. He means a lot
critical versus the Celtics made it to this point without Porzingis.
Yeah, I do think that.
Yeah.
I just show the talent they have. I do think that you need him for this series because I would sway a different way. I'm real with you. I sway a different way. He wasn't playing. Like, Porzingis is needed for this series. Because, I mean, and let's keep it a buck. Like, and there's another factor. Boston shoots like 100 threes, dog. If they miss threes, they're going to lose the series. Because they're 3-point shooters. All they do is shoot threes.
And that's the games they lost so far.
Yeah, let's keep it a buck. Like that. Like,
Cavs,
we don't.
That's like they were missing their threes. Same thing.
Let's just talk about the obvious.
The game against the Heat. That game 2, round 1, they were off. Yeah. So you're right. Regardless of whether, but
regardless, let's keep it a buck. Regardless of we could go here, there, whatever. Dallas makes this is the series. Team. Dallas makes 3. I mean, Boston makes threes, they're winning. Boston doesn't make threes, they're losing. That's really real talk. That's really the series for real.
Let's look at officiating. Does that hurt Boston when you know Luka, as annoying as he is, and there's not one basketball fan. I don't care if you're a Mavericks fan. Everybody knows he's annoying. Because he pushes off, he cries every single time. So he's annoying, but he gets to the free throw line. It is what it is. If you're playing against a more perimeter-oriented team, will Dallas get the free throw edge? Is that a given?
Yeah, I think they should. Because I think they will. But also, I think that Luka wasn't getting. That's why he was getting pissed off even more. He wasn't getting that many calls in the postseason. So I do think that no, that's why I was so annoyed.
I'm just laughing at him. I'm sorry.
No, but you know what I mean? Like that's why he wasn't getting called. So like so I don't think being the finals.
That's why Derek White might be somebody to nag his butt though. It might be. Derek White might be the right dude to put on Luka. Luka's still gonna fry him, but he might just annoy him.
Yeah. Nah, Luka gonna fry him though, because he's too short.
He's gonna fry him. Luka fries everybody. But like Dort,
he's too small though.
Dort annoyed him. Who? Even though he Dort for
I wouldn't know what I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I wouldn't mind having because he's stronger and he played tough. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they put like Al Horford on him every once in a while. I would not be surprised. Like I wouldn't be surprised.
Man. Every time Indiana put Al Horford in the pick and roll, he got cooked. It was Nembhard.
But Nembhard is faster. That's different. Like Luka is.
But he was hitting step backs on him though. Step backs right.
I wouldn't be surprised just because Luka plays bully ball. But Nembhard is whatever. Like I mean, I feel he's not a twitchy guard though. Luka ain't twitchy. Man, I ain't saying. I ain't saying it's going to be. I'm just saying like depending on how the game, like because you got it, dudes. You can't have your star players checking this dude and getting foul trouble. because he does have a knack to get you in foul trouble. You're gonna have to find certain other players to check him at certain situations, though. You're just gonna have to.
Hey, we got a lot of listeners too right now, bro. Check in.
Yeah.
Which ex-Wizards going to get this chip? My man, like I said, Steve already said he sees that it is going to be Daniel Gafford in the Mavs, not because of Daniel Gafford.
Yeah, he just said that. He said because of Luka. He said Luka's a beast.
Of course, yeah, of course.
He said Luka is a beast.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, at the end of the day, this is a DMV-based podcast. We got two ex-Wizards going up against each other. You got one that's not as healthy. You got one that's been essential to the run that Dallas has made. Mm-hmm. Who's gonna get that chip? I would love to see Gafford get a chip. Though I ain't gonna hold you, man.
I would love Porzingis to get a chip. I just like Porzingis. I've always liked.
You like Porzingis that much?
Yeah, I was a fan
for Washington.
I ain't gonna lie. I was like watching him. I
ain't
gonna lie to you. Watching him up close, I became a big fan of Porzingis because like I felt like they were trying to feature Brad way too much, and dude was the one that was getting buckets. Porzingis putting up 50, bro. He's putting up 50 games, dog. Mm-hmm. Like. And they kept trying to feature Brad. I was like, Porzingis, they should be running offense through Porzingis.
Yeah, when they did, when Brad was out, Porzingis always went ham.
Yep.
And Rui. Anyway, that's a different discussion.
So I'm just saying.
It would be good to see either one. If you're a fan of the Wizards or like a true fan of Wizards, then you're definitely a Porzingis fan because he was great for the organization.
Yeah.
And he kept you in ball games defensively and offensively, like kind of what Wole said. Like I said, some games he would have 36, 6 blocks.
Dog, I saw
boards.
games where
he hooped. Dude,
he would have 30 literally in one half, bro. I was like, damn.
I just like the underdog story, which is why I guess I root for Gafford because Gafford, he talked about it on Inside the NBA. He came from a town nobody's heard of. He basically was given up on in Chicago. And then came to Washington, man, remade himself, and he looked almost like Jared Allen out there on the court. So I love the story. Porzingis was a high pick. He had expectations. Obviously, he played with Melo. He played through Linsanity. He played under the brightest lights. So he's had his positions to where he could have been in this spot. But Gafford ain't supposed to be here. So it's a dope story. Which ex-Wizards is going to get that title? That's the question, guys. I hope folks will chime in at some point. But regardless, Wole, the show goes on, brother. Who are you picking? Because I don't think you really made your pick.
No, I got Boston. I got Boston at 6.
Respect. That's why you wore green today.
No. This is because I like green. You know, I'm Nigerian. We love green.
You always say that. He always the Norfolk State green. No, it's Nigeria.
No, it's Nigeria, bro.
You see like some Boston Celtics green.
Literally, you see this young right here? You know what I'm saying? This is Nigeria right here, dog. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do out here.
Definitely.
We rap. That's what we do.
Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? But I got Boston. I just think that that 5, like the 5, I go 5 for 5, and you know if
we passed time. My bad, bro.
No, we good. We good. This segment has been dope. I just think that what Boston brings to the table defensively and offensively, and they do strap, you know what I'm saying? So they are a high-powered offense as well. So they bring a lot to the table, and you just can't, like, we're talking about Jaylen Brown like him, but I know on the scouting report, they're not going to say let's take away Jaylen Brown. They're going to say let's take away Jason Tatum. That's what they're going to do. So we know that Jaylen Brown has an opportunity to get buckets. So now, which is different from any series that this team has had to go through. Like they're gonna have to play multiple dudes. Like you can't worry about one dude because we've seen in the series with Jason Tatum ain't getting in series already. Jason Tatum ain't going off. They got other dudes who are cool with carrying the team. So like this is a different team. It's a different beast. You know what I'm saying? But I think Boston will make life easy for him. Jason Tatum better wake up. But I have Boston.
They were evenly matched in the regular season. Does that matter at this point?
Oh, 2-2?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't really.
No, I think it was 1-1. I'm sorry.
Oh,
let me see.
Oh, I'm sorry, 1-1. Yeah, because they're. Yeah. I don't know who was playing because some players, you know how.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't matter. You're right. Matter. That's all I wanted. Okay.
It don't matter. Like I don't know they're full. Both teams were full because Luka may have not played the game they lost or whatever. Whoever, I don't even know. Kyrie
one team will deliver the knockout blow, Wole.
I saw what you did there.
Just like Howard did, you know what I'm saying? The MEAC tournament, bro.
I know just I see your segue. I see your skills. Bro.
Oh yeah. So speaking of what?
That's what I thought you did. Blows, that's what I thought you was doing.
Oh yeah, I was. Sorry, I'm clowning. I didn't realize my name was next to that. Speaking of knockout blows, a guy who had a lot of knockouts over his career. That's all he was known for. Deontay Wilder. He got knocked out over the weekend, and it looks like his career could be coming to a close. As I said, I don't know if it's Zhang or Zhang. Sorry for getting your name wrong, but he knocked out Deontay Wilder. Saturday, Kingdom Arena, Saudi Arabia. What's next for the former king, or one of the former kings of the heavyweight division, known for his home run hitting ability, was behind in fights like against Luis King Kong Ortiz, arguably knocked out Fury twice. There was some politics with that, I believe. The dude came from nowhere to become a boxer. I mean, you got to give him love for how he became. He didn't have like the greatest amateur background, never had the greatest technique, but that right hand will go down in history. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. It's going to be great to see him. That's probably going to be one of the greatest Hall of Fame speeches that you'll see. He has that Kevin Garnett, anything's possible type of like mentality.
Yeah, he got that vibe. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Like,
Bomb Squad.
He was entertaining to watch, but that Bomb Squad is gone, my brother. Just your thoughts on Deontay Wilder and what took place over the weekend, and ultimately, what will his legacy be when you compare him to the great heavyweights of all time?
So Deontay Wilder. So watching that fight was sloppy. I watched the fight. It was horrible. Like, just his technique was terrible. Like, I don't know if I don't think he was engaged in that fight, bro. Like, I don't even know how to explain what he was doing. But in terms, I don't, bro, because I was watching, I was like I felt like even after round one, he looked wobbly. You know what I'm saying? So I think Deontay Wilder is done. I just hope he retires, to be honest with you. In that fight, he lacked defense. And we've talked about that in the past. For all of his fights, he lacks defense. I hate his whole jab situation where he just holds his left hand out there and just waits, like, and is waiting to come with the right. Like, dude, just you're telegraphing everything. You know what I'm saying? He had a good showing. I wouldn't say even the round he got knocked out in, like, he had a good start to the round 5. Like, he looked like he was close to hurting Zhang. But then Zhang caught him badly. And that thing was thorough. So, but I just hope he retires, because he's been knocked down like how many times? 4 to 5 times already in the stretch. Over his last semi games, he's been knocked out like what, 4 or 5 times over. He got knocked out 2 of the Fury fights. He got knocked out. I don't know if Parker knocked him out. I don't think Parker knocked him out. He got knocked out this fight. Maybe Parker didn't knock him out.
No,
he got knocked out this fight. He didn't. He didn't knock him out. This joint he got knocked out.
It was just a lopsided
victory. That's right. This joint he got knocked out. Like, it's to a point, bro. Like, just stop. Stop. Because his shit ain't gonna never be the same, obviously.
I think that his legacy is going to be one that is going to be dope because his knockout percentage is so high in terms of his victories. But I'm torn as to what he does now, and it's not about retirement. It's about going into broadcasting. He has the personality to go into broadcasting. Like, I think people would love to see Deontay Wilder on PBC per se, or Amazon. But at the same time, if you're a boxing purist, shout out to like Adam's Boxing Show and others. Yeah, hearing Wilder commentate about technique and
it's horrible.
You know, I don't know if somebody's going to say, I'm not listening. I'm turning the volume down. To hear Deontay Wilder talking about boxing technique is laughable.
Very laughable, actually.
Abner Mares had battles with Leo Santa Cruz and lost. Leo Santa Cruz, you saw what happened to him at Tank. He was knocked out. He was not unconscious, which is it's not funny, actually, but it is. Because it speaks to who Abner Mares, where he was, levels to boxing. But I love to hear Abner Mares on the call because he knows boxing.
He knows boxing,
He knows boxing. Deontay Wilder is like the opposite. He was excited to watch knock somebody out. But if you hear Deontay Wilder talk boxing, it's gonna be hilarious. I remember I can see my man Wood saying, he's up there posting lifting weight videos. This is not the NFL combine. Like, anything else he does is freaking hilarious, Deontay Wilder. So what does he do next? I believe he's going to go into broadcasting and commentary. I see it happening. Now, what platform is probably going to be throughout him? I don't see him being on Matchroom or The Zone because, again, if you listen to their commentary, or ESPN for that matter, it's different from PBC. It's just different. Versus PBC, they'll have Steven Jackson. They'll have that was more Showtime. That's still PBC though. They'll have the Charlo brothers filling in on the pre-fight shows, the ones you can watch the undercard before you got to pay for it. Shout out to them YouTube folks who watch it. So I can see Deontay Wilder doing that, and Deontay Wilder actually being pretty entertaining. But he's not going to be Lennox Lewis. He's not going to be Roy Jones. And Roy Jones didn't have technique, but yet he talks like he did. If you watch him commentate,
his technique was good enough. No, it was good enough.
No. Roy Jones,
he was a remix. I mean, he was his own technician. Like it was. Oh no, he had Deontay's different, bro. No. Real talk. Deontay trash tech. Like that's horrible technique.
Roy Jones ain't do nothing right either, though, bro.
No, he didn't. He wasn't orthodox, but he had skill in what he did, though. No, Deontay got no skill, bro. Like all it is one trick is a power. Like Deontay is the type of dude that's in a neighborhood fighting. Like Roy, he in a neighborhood fighting. He just happens to have that right. Don't do that. Don't do Roy that way. Don't do Roy that way. Don't disrespect Roy, dog. I'm like, you disrespecting Roy.
I'm not disrespecting Roy.
Deontay different. Deontay is more like, hey, yo, they wrecking outside, man. They going to the body in the bathroom.
You crazy as all the way. Hey, Fat Joe said that. He said Roy Jones walked up on me. Roy Jones, he was listening. Well, he was mentioning the lean back. So he said even Roy Jones was forced to lean back. He said Roy Jones about to knock me out. Fat Joe kept it real. Roy Jones got that element to him too. I don't know who you can say had the worst technique, but Roy Jones actually worked out in commentary for HBO and had a successful run. So that means Deontay Wilder can probably do the same thing. So I think he needs to transition into broadcasting. That's my take.
I mean he could, but I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm with you. I'm not listening to him though. I'm sorry. After the stuff
so you would turn down the volume of a Deontay Wilder commentary? That's
dude, what you gonna tell, bro? We seen you fight, bro. Like we seen you fight. I'd rather listen to Mike Tyson. I ain't real talk. I'd rather listen to Mike Tyson.
No, oh come on, Wale.
Yeah, because at least Mike Tyson has skill. Like he would do is like he would. I feel like Mike Tyson would explain something better, dog. I would believe Mike Tyson. Well, look, Ray. This Deontay Wilder.
Timothy Bradley was a good boxer, and many can't stomach his commentary because he's so biased.
But he's biased, but at least I can believe what he's talking about.
Turn the volume down for guys like him.
No, but I can believe what he's saying though. But I can believe it because I feel like he's smart enough to. He's a tactician in the ring. Close enough. Dog, Ray. When Deontay tell you that the dude should jab more, you're gonna be like, really, Deontay? Really?
Well, he's speaking to their skill set.
Really? Like you gonna automatically question the dude. You're gonna be like, really? You know what? As a character. You're right. As a character, Deontay is cool. As a character,
that's what I'm saying. You can watch Deontay.
But don't tell me to listen to him talk about technique.
No, you take that with a grain of salt. Sure, the same way. But
all I want to hear Deontay say,
Kellerman, Roy, and Letterman, and
all I want Deontay. All I want
Jim Lampley. You watch that team. If you can watch that team, you can watch it. You can watch like an Al Bernstein and Mauro Ranallo, who's more WWE. Oh my gosh, look at that dog.
They were good though. They're cool. They're cool.
Oh, for sure. But you add Deontay Wilder to that. I think that's actually pretty cool. Deontay Wilder's not gonna be part of the team though. That team is set. I'm talking about pre-fight before
Deontay Wilder should. Look, I'm gonna say what Deontay Wilder should do. Real talk. Just do a podcast. Bro. Just do a podcast.
There you go. All right, we agree on that.
Yeah, just do a podcast.
The Bomb Squad podcast.
Bomb Squad.
He needs to thank the urban sports scene if he actually starts.
Yeah, just do a podcast, bro. Real talk. Just do a podcast. I don't look, man. Like Ray said,
are we gonna watch his podcast? Or are we gonna watch it for the interviews or for the commentary? Because then again, what is he giving analysis on his podcast, or is he bringing the best guest on? If that's the case, you can watch some of these other boxing shows because they bring on good guests. I'll go watch Fight Hype before I watch Deontay Wilder. If it's all about just a guest asking, oh, who you think gonna fight Tank next? Come on,
you know what? No lies told, Ray. You're right. No lies told. You're right.
I'd rather him be on the start of a card and he gives his thoughts, and that's it.
I don't even want him on any of that stuff. I ain't gonna
all right. Well, so you say he shouldn't go into broadcasting, but I think that's where he's going to be real.
I think he is though. He has to. He's a character. But they don't put Mike Tyson on TV. Why? Why don't put Mike Tyson on TV?
His voice is
man, that'll be entertaining, bro. Mike telling us Mike say giving us his information. Man, I love Mike, man. Mike is a national treasure. I would love him. I would love him to do a comment. If Deontay Wilder, I ain't gonna lie to you. If Deontay Wilder could do it, I ain't gonna lie to you. You've heard Deontay Wilder speak. You heard him speak. Okay.
I'll take that over Tyson. I'm sorry.
Do you think Deontay Wilder?
Well, you know what? You bring up a good point. Okay,
I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there.
Mike Tyson was able to transition into was also like acting, right? Playing The Hangover. He's done stage shows. He's been on Adult Swim. Maybe Deontay Wilder can join a good fight scene. Maybe he's in the next Fast and Furious. He's in the next Creed. Maybe he's doing something like that where
That's not a bad idea.
Maybe that's what he transitioned to. He transitioned
what?
to acting.
That's not a bad idea.
You say he's a street fight type of guy, like they wrecking in the bathroom.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Hey, taking them in the bathroom, wrecking.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, there you go. He at the party. You see him on TMZ. He's swinging. Okay,
Yeah.
he could do an awesome fight scene in a movie. Period.
Yeah. Or he can always
He
fight.
could be in WWE for real. He could do
Facts.
something that
He could be fighting Logan or Logan or whoever Paul. One of the Paul brothers.
Oh, okay, there you go. Maybe that. Oh, he would knock one of them out. I don't see him go. Nah, WWE because it's too scripted. He can't do that. But
yeah.
acting, I could totally see him. He could be a
Acting?
villain in a boxing movie. And we finally get.
Then you can act. Then you can act.
Oh, because wait, no, he doesn't have to have a lot of lines. He is a punching guy. He's Neon Badol. He's like Shaq's role was in Blue Chips. Shaq didn't need to be a great actor in Blue Chips, but the fact that he was a dunker and he was a great recruit, Deontay Wilder knocking dudes out on camera is money.
Shazam! It's like
nah, bro. Neon Badol, I'll give him that one.
Yeah, that was some good acting. That was because he's playing himself.
Basically. Deontay Wilder, all he has to do is play. So can you see him knocking out the Russian and Creed? He could be Clubber Lang's son, bro. Totally. Clubber Lang's nephew. Even though I hear the next Creed on another note is the storyline is supposed to be about his daughter being a boxer.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. That's what I heard too.
But we're not sure. I don't know. But Deontay Wilder, regardless, we agree that this is it for him, and what he does next is up to him. He said money's not an issue. So he's not going to go into broadcasting for money. He's not going to fight again because of money.
Money should be an issue. He made enough.
Which makes your question that you asked to open more valid is, I don't know what he was doing. Because he wasn't out there for the money. He was out there seeing if he could continue to be that knockout artist that could eventually warrant a Joshua fight, and that's now gone, unfortunately. And we already know the story behind that. But this has been a dope show, bro. I appreciate you, man.
No problem, bro. We still got another question, though. So we still got another topic.
Sorry. Oh, we do?
But, yeah, we do, bro. You're supposed to.
Oh, my bad. Is it me?
It's you. Because I can answer this, and plus I got people who want to talk about it.
Oh, who you want to say? Oh, okay. On the flip side, the man that knocked out Deontay Wilder, who is his next opponent?
No, people care about.
I could go without seeing him fight again. To be honest with you, go ahead, Wale. My bad.
Right. So we actually on X, Rich V, that's at Boxing Vitals said, well, let's make that rematch happen with Anthony Joshua, as Zhang lost to him in the Olympics, and he wants to avenge that loss.
Okay, I think Anthony Joshua is a good name for the simple fact that he'll need a fight.
He has a fight September. He needs a fighter in September, right?
Before he can get the winner of Usyk Fury 2, he'll need another fight. So maybe. You also.
I think he should fight Dubois.
Okay, that's a good fight.
I saw Dubois. Yeah, I think he should fight Dubois. Dubois won on the card on the upset. I think it was for the title too. Was it for the IBF or WBC? I could be wrong. I think it's for IBF or WBC. But Dubois was very impressive.
Jared Anderson, maybe.
See, Jared Anderson. I always like, because Dubois 26. I would like Jared Anderson to fight Dubois, but I do think that because of Jared Anderson still is like on a little lower on the at the moment, lower on the heavyweight cycle. That I just think that even though he's undefeated, and inactivity and all this other stuff with going on with and you know I like Anderson, so you know I like Jared Anderson.
He's been pretty active. He just hasn't fought the
of late.
competition.
He had the issue, but he had the issue with the
because he fought like 3 times actually because he said he was broke. Remember?
He did. I take that back. You're right. He did. So I would take. I don't know. You think he's ready for that stage though?
He has to be. He has
by
to be.
now, right?
And with the Saudi Arabia element and how Bob Arum plays a role in that, he's in prime position to get a fight like that.
That Perron, that's the started like Turkey. That's the millionaire who set up all these fights.
Yeah,
that dude like that, bro.
His Excellency.
Yeah, he's like that.
Yeah, his
he making all these fights.
Stacked. Yep.
No, he making all these fights happen.
You might as well go for it, you big baby, because that's a fight that could elevate you into the discussion to get like because nobody wants to see what's his name? He also went by Big Baby. What's his name? He tested positive for PEDs and lost the Joshua fight. What's his name again?
Who lost the Joshua fight?
He was supposed to fight Joshua till Ruiz stepped in for him. Remember that initial fight?
Oh, before him.
And Ruiz upset him. What's his name? Does he go by Big Baby too? Am I tripping?
I forgot what you're talking. I know you're talking about. Just I can't remember his name.
I can see him in my head right now. He's not the great. Jared. Oh no. Gosh, I can see him in my name. I can see him in my head. Hold on, I got it right here.
Go ahead. But I would like, but on the topic, I would like to see Zhang fight either Dubois or Joshua. I do think that but I know that they're talking about Dubois may be the one to fight Joshua. Because Dubois was so impressive.
Oh, Jarrell Miller. My bad.
Jarrell Miller. Oh, yeah, Jarrell Miller. Yeah, Jarrell. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think Joyce has a chance to fight Joshua too on the low. But I do think that, he can fight Joyce. No way, or he can fight Joyce. Zhang can fight Joyce. But if he doesn't, but everybody's trying to get the Joshua fight in Wembley. Right. Everyone's trying to get the Joshua fight in Wembley. So I do think, Joshua has he has a choice, but it's between Dubois and Zhang. I think the two front runners are Dubois and Zhang. Okay. He's not fighting Parker anymore because he already beat Parker.
Right, exactly.
Fight Parker. So yeah, between those two. But yeah, I think I do kind of think because this was an impressive knockout, and he beat Anthony because he did knock out his knockout is quote unquote more popular what Zhang did. That to your point, to boxing Vitals point, I do think that he'll probably fight Anthony Joshua. I think that'll probably be the next. Will be next on the docket. Because dude does have amazing punching power. I give Zhang credit. He does have amazing punching power. So he is a exciting fighter because he can knock you out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I like the Joyce. I like that fight. I do.
Joyce. Like Dubois, I think Zhang can fight Joyce. Yeah, I feel like I think Dubois would be cool, but he's so young. He's 26, and I don't know if I'm Dubois lost to he lost to Usyk, but he did have that punch where it looked like he knocked down Usyk, but they said it wasn't a knockdown.
So Dillian White could be in line too.
Dylan White trash though. Dylan White, I'm not going to be mean, dog, but Dylan White needs to not trash, but Dylan White needs to not get title shots anymore or get opportunity. Well, you know what? If you want to stop, if Zhang want to stop to stack his stack his resume, yeah, I'd take Dylan White. There's no problem. Like to your point, yeah, I'd take Dylan White. I think that wouldn't be a bad one. I'm not tripping off of my guy. Yeah, I would definitely. Yeah, Dylan White wouldn't be a bad look. Yeah, he's an IBF. Yeah, the boy's an IBF champion. He's an IBF champion. That's what he is. I forgot. I'm trying to figure out.
I know that boxing is cranking out the fight, so he's going to have an opponent coming up soon. Anthony Joshua was the biggest target outside of the top two guys. It's going to be interesting to see who aligns themselves for that. Like I said, that Usyk. But see, here's the problem. If Fury beats Usyk in the next fight, that's going to set up a trilogy, and then you're still going to have these guys on the outside looking in. So because in part people want Fury to win because Fury and Joshua has to happen at least once for the UK.
They need. Yeah, that's what they want. Yeah,
if Fury
ain't happening anytime soon.
If Fury loses, then that still sets him up for a fight with Joshua because they both be 0-2 versus Usyk. But then Usyk with no competition.
The only fight. So all right, so it's Urkovich that Dubois beat. So it's Urkovich. I was trying to think of the dude that Dubois beat. It was Urkovich. But the only way that Fury and Joshua happens is if Fury loses. Because if Fury wins, they do in part 3. So it has to. So the only way that Fury and Joshua happens is Fury has to lose to Usyk again. Then it's like, who do you fight next? You know what I'm saying? Because again, if I'm Usyk, I'm not fighting Anthony Joshua. Dude, I already beat you twice.
True. So
you got to beat the two dudes that lost to Usyk twice will have to go against each other.
No doubt.
So they would have to, truth be told, they would have to root for Usyk to, if they want that fight bad, they would have to root for Usyk to beat Fury.
I appreciate you though, man, for talking about the heavyweight division at length, because the heavyweight division was once, of course, the best division in boxing. It was the most storied division in boxing, and it's gotten lost over the years. And now these guys are bringing it back. So shout out to them. Shout out to everything Deontay Wilder contributed. Yeah. And I look forward, like I said, to at the very least, if he doesn't go into commentary or acting, that Hall of Fame speech is going to be dope, man. So
shout out to Usyk. Usyk and Fury did this for the heavyweight division for real. Shout out to those two. They brought it back to light in terms of like having that mega fight, competitive fight. That's cool. Because of the competition, that fight it was so competitive.
Yeah, two highly skilled boxers.
Yes,
because that's
exactly.
that's the thing that lacked with Deontay Wilder versus Fury. No offense to Deontay Wilder, just Fury was skilled. Deontay Wilder's knockout puncher. Period.
That's it. That was it. It was a contrast in styles, but it wasn't like to what our boy Will T would say. It wasn't a straight sweet science of boxing. It was a contrast in styles. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. But yeah, man. This like boxing is in a good place. We're gonna try to talk some more boxing. We know that y'all kind of like us talking boxing too, so we're gonna try to, talk some boxing. We got, y'all. If y'all didn't catch our interview last week, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, with the Roach family, yeah.
With the Roach family.
Well, you gotta let me know something about, they want us to come in person before that big that big fight.
Yeah, I'll let you know how my schedule works out because my job is kind of like winning.
I respect it.
My job is winning.
I respect it.
But we're gonna make it happen. I ain't forget about it. Real talk. I ain't forget about it. We're gonna make it happen. Because I do think I like the Rose family. They got a lot big things happen for the Rose family.
Hey, we talking about heavyweights and we talking about boxing, but the DMV boxing scene right now. Wow, that's a great show name, by the way. The DMV boxing scene looking real. It's looking so good. And you got so many young up and coming fighters, and I'm hoping that they'll get the opportunity, of course. Gary Antoine Russell, shout out to him. We always talk about him on this show.
Yeah.
He is about to position himself to be one of the top guys at 140, and then the sky's gonna be the limit. So look out for the boxing scene right here in the DMV, fam. No doubt.
Yeah, exactly, man. So because we're starting to get champions, you know what I'm saying, in the area. And this Ray's talked about this, a lot. Like this area was always rich in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And now it's good to kind of have guys to represent, you know what I'm saying? And we've had some champions.
Shout out to everybody that's come before. Sean B. Mitchell, Jared Hurd. Jared Hurd's still active, but obviously he had his days as a champion and did work with the Washington Commanders. Yeah. That's what I want to see for these guys that are coming out. Lamont Roach started doing it.
Gary Russell Jr., all these guys. All these
we've had champions, of course. Sugar Ray,
Chop, you know what I'm saying? Chop.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, a lot of guys, a lot of dope guys.
So, you know what I'm saying? So just make sure y'all stay locked in, man, because we're gonna produce it. Real talk, we're gonna produce it. So y'all stay locked in to what we gotta talk about.
Thank you for everybody for chiming in tonight. Thank you for all the comments. We love the eyes. It's dope. Checking in on X. You guys are amazing.
For real.
X gives us so many great listeners and so much good feedback, though. It's not anything out of left field. It's not fanboy stuff. It's just good content. Appreciate it.
It is. Real talk. It really is, man. But we're about to close the show out. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, tune in, iHeartRadio. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Also follow us on X at Urban Sports Scene, IG at Urban Sports Scene, and like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. If you are watching this on YouTube, man, hit that red subscribe button and like this video, man. We try and get to 700 subscribers. So if you're watching this on YouTube, don't be shy. Hit that red subscribe button. It's free. There's no cost. So while you watching it, just hit it and keep it moving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you're on X right now, just go on over and do it too as well. If you haven't.
Yeah, exactly. If you're on X and you see the link that we put our YouTube live video, man, click that. Just hit the subscribe button, man. We there. Sure. Y'all see it. Y'all know what time it is. And also make sure you check us out on our website, which is www.urbansportscene.com. We're also part of Empire Media. That's www.empiremedia.com. Hey, man, anyway, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. This has been a dope show, like my man Ray said. Anyway, you've been listening to the Urban Sports Scene for ages. You dig? Deuces. We out.
Peace.